past all of them as well. What a move for the 48. Oh, look at this, and onto the straight they come.
Brilliant move there from number 40 to make it through. That left-hander sliding up the inside, going up now over Hawthorne Hill, down Pilgrim's Drop, and it's brilliant stuff here at Brands Hatch.
The final 3-round string is go here in the Formula 4 Championship here. Of course, the UK Formula 4 1600s that start off the evening. We have ventured north of the border. We have ventured to Knockhill, and we are strapped in and ready to go for what I'm sure will be a thrilling and very decisive round here of racing, not only here in the UK Formula 4 1600s, but of course in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship a little bit later on this evening. It's myself, Liz McLean, there's Cameron Roger alongside. We are ready to go for this final 3-race swing, and look, I'm really excited for it. It's always an exciting final 3 rounds. Again, starting it here at Knockhill feels very fitting because it is a brutal circuit.
Yeah, it's a crazy time of the calendar to put this circuit, to be honest, because it's right at the crunch time. This is when the final couple of drivers are getting themselves in position for the championship, and we all know it is going to be a bit of carnage out there today. 4 races coming your way, 2 for each of the categories, and I can't wait to see what is going to happen, especially when we get to reverse grid race.
Let's talk about the format. If you haven't joined us before this evening, before we get into the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, let's talk about what we're going through in the UK Formula 4 1600s. Of course, lone qualifying will be coming up in a few minutes' time. They'll get the circuit to themselves in only 4 laps, of which we will see all 4 of those laps being taken around here, with it being such a short circuit at Knockhill. They'll have 2 15-minute races, of course, the second of which is a reverse grid between P5 and 10, of course, based on the finishing positions in race number 1. Always that second race is exciting and very hard for some of the drivers to work their way through. We've mentioned before, we are on our final 3-race string. That is Knockhill, Zandvoort and Brands Hatch. Of course, Zandvoort was the second round back in 2024. It is the penultimate round in 2025. We've been to Donington Park, Thruxton, Snetterton, Alton Park and Silverstone, and of course that final 6 more races to decide the title. Of course, here in the UK Formula 4 1600s, we also have 2 drop scores to talk of. Thankfully, we're not going to do any points discussion on that. We're not smart enough here in the comedy booth. That'll be done behind the scenes. Of course, here's what they're playing for. The top 2 drivers in this championship here in the UK Formula 4 1600s will win a fully funded entry into the 2026 British Formula 4 Esports Championship, as we've had for the last couple of seasons. The winning driver will also receive prizes from Hoistingfeld Ultimate Plus Black 3-pedal set. Second place driver getting the Sprint 3-pedal set. And of course, the third place driver getting the 2-pedal set. And of course, the top 3 drivers will receive that named trophy, which is always a fun thing to look back on fondly of this title and think of those that also came before and what we're fighting for. Here's the points taken into account. One of the drop scores, I believe. Crofton Woodhatch is on the top of the standings and also has 4 consecutive victories. The record in this championship is 6, done by Henry Moore in the opening season back in 2023. He's 40 points ahead of Jaden Sherwood. Sam Sanders up there in 3rd position with Hayden Bramley as well. All extremely tight on points there between Sanders, Bramley, Kendall and Miller Kangas. Dylan McClement's a little bit further off the back of that, but I do expect he might come on strong later on as this competition goes on, because he's had some pretty large drop scores. Charlie Summers, Brandon Loudon and Jeffrey Decker will round out the top 10. Cam, we're getting ready for qualifying. We are here in practice at the moment. You can see the 17 cars around this circuit. It is a tricky track. It's one that both you and I have visited in a couple of years ago now, and it's an iconic location here in Great Britain and a fantastic visit north of the border.
Absolutely. Dare I say, my home country of Scotland. Loved this circuit when we went there at CBTCC a couple of years ago. Great circuit, loads of elevation change, very narrow, and not many overtaking opportunities. But what we often see is some pretty interesting racing, because a lot of mistakes are made by these drivers. There's a lot of big curves that you can chunk. There's some gravel, as we can see there, that you can dip some wheels into. The drivers won't be just having a clean processional race, that is for sure. And one thing, actually, just to quickly touch on the championship standings that you just said. So Sam Sanders is 6th overall, but he jumps up into third due to those drop scores. So they are going to be so crucial in these final few rounds, and today would certainly be a day I'm sure a couple of drivers may nominate to be one of their drop scores if they have a bad round.
Yeah, indeed. Cam Roger from the Scottish part of Surrey, as it seems. Of course, you're absolutely right. Obviously, taking into account the drop scores and seeing that gap coming down even for our Championship League, Crofton Woodhatch on overall points is 336. That drops him from a 66-point lead because he's on 336. Plays 270 for Jaden Sherwood. That drops down to a 40 or so point lead in the title. So he does lose a lot of that ground, which we were expecting, because effectively he has to drop a podium, whereas Jaden Sherwood will actually drop a 14th and a 9th as his worst results, because the problem with Crofton Woodhatch is he's kind of had, yes, of course, the last 2 rounds have been great with 4 consecutive victories, but he's also gone a 1st and a 7th. Well, the 7th there is kind of not great, but the first you're not dropping that, and then his next round's a 3rd and 12th and 3rd and 15th. The problem with that is that you're always going to be dropping the podium because you're dropping the overall rounds, not the individual 4 worst races. You're dropping the 2 worst rounds.
Yes, suffering from success, that is for sure. And it's similar with Sam Sanders, because his worst round is an 11th and a retired. so not many points to drop, and that is why he goes up. Anyway, let's take a look around Knockhill, because this is such a cool circuit.
It really is, of course, iconic in every stretch of the imagination, and that big drop-off going into the opening corner at Duffer's Dip. They flick it over to the left-hand side there on the entry into pit lane, and then through that opening corner. It drops right the way down the hill through the second corner, which goes to the left-hand side, and then into the short braking zone at McIntyre's, through Butchers here, and then up towards the chicane as they go up and over the crest. They can take quite a lot of that curb, but they can't use too much on the exit there. A couple of wheels in the gravel, and that will effectively be the lap done. Certainly is slow anyway. They run their way through Clark Curve, the penultimate real final corner on the circuit, before they continue to turn left, running along the railway straight, and of course into that final braking zone at Taylor's. That final hairpin starts to climb uphill on the exit of it. You can brake quite late into that hairpin, mostly courtesy of that run up the hill as you get towards the apex. For Matt Kendall, it looked like an okay lap, but not spectacular across the line to set a 52.7. Immediately decimated by Dylan McClements' 51.3. Jaden Sherwood up there as well, about a quarter of a second off. These are all very much benchmark times as Timo Miller-Kangas. Oh, I think he's been learning from me. That was not a good line there.
Yeah, that was not the fastest way around. Yeah, Kendall there. I was going to say it's actually going to be a really close session because there aren't many corners and it's a very short track, but Kendall obviously having some big issues there and doing the slowest time so far, but he's got more laps to get that one done. As you see, they're sending it over the chicane. Sanders, they're having a big slide, but you have to keep it settled through this part of the track and get the run out onto the railway straight. This is he's definitely one of the sort of dark horse drivers. He may not get all the wins and all the accolades, but he's always there, very consistent up towards the top of the standings. He's only a 10th off pole at the moment, so Kendall does come in a much better time on his second lap and Sherwood up to 4th.
Yeah, good stuff there from Jaden Sherwood, the driver who sits second in the championship. Crofton Woodhatch yet to set a time in the session. Jamie Hopper moves up into third as Dylan McClements continues to rotate around the circuit, 51.3. There is a look at our championship leader, Crofton Woodhatch. 4 consecutive victories. Can he take 6? Can he go joint top on the all-time consecutive wins list, of course, along with Henry Moore? I think he's certainly got the pace. I mean, Shoma Shintani, didn't he do the double here last year? Certainly very fast around here.
And it's also for Woodhatch, it's 4 poles out of 5 so far this season. So can he get a 5th one on the season? That'll be certainly very good indeed. We're going to see what he's actually left it pretty late compared to the other people, I guess, because it's such a short lap. You actually have a lot of time in the session. Back at Silverstone, you had to go out straight away to get all of your laps in. We're a quarter of a second for the top 6 drivers, and this is going to be some crucial laps here, because we all know, at least at the start, qualifying is going to be quite important to avoid the chaos through this opening sector. All over the curbs there as Sanders jumps up to second.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, he's used a lot on the left-hand side to kind of open it up on the right. This is the run through Clark. Really easy to, understeer off the circuit. As you come up and over the crest at the apex of Clark, the car becomes lethargic and pushes out to the outside of the circuit towards all that gravel. Here we go into the final corner. and then up towards start-finish line. A little wide of it, but you can carry some decent speed off of it. Used all the circuit there on the left-hand side. 51.313 to beat here. Don't think it will. Wow. Okay. I can't take any credit. Yes, it didn't beat it, but only by a few thousand a second. I would expect it to be a little bit further off than that, I'm not going to lie.
Not even that, half a tenth of a second for the top 5 drivers. What a qualifying session we have here. A lot of the lap times are already set. Make that 6 drivers as Jamie Hopper jumps up into 4th place. Milikangas currently sat 3/10 off in 9th place. I mean, you basically blink an eye and you're going to be somewhere in the top 5.
I think Matt Kendall's called time on his session, so he's done for it. Of course, it is the fastest session that we basically deal with all season. We don't go to Brands Indy anymore, where we would have had such a short circuit. It is such a small one around here at just that 50-odd seconds, and with it, the session's over in a blink of an eye. Team Milikangas up towards the line, 3/10 off of the pole at the moment. He sits in 9th position in the session, does improve and gets himself up to 7th position as Crofton Woodhatch now sets the 51.236 and moves a few drivers outside of a 10th to pole position. Cracking lap from our championship leader.
And the 5 drivers behind him are all in pit lane. They're done for the session. So Crofton at the death, basically, of everyone setting their laps. They've only got 4 laps, remember. So that is basically everyone using their lap times very quickly in the session. But he's got another one to go. So he might go even faster. He always pulls one out the bag, doesn't he? And this might be 5 out of 6 poles for the season.
As we can see, Crofton Woodhatch working his way around. I'm not sure. Need to go and check the list as to who can and cannot do qualifying. I'm pretty sure Mario Raskant, he had a disqualification from the second race the previous round, but I'm not necessarily sure if Hayden Bramley is able to take out to the circuit. We'll have to go and check that one, as we'll see Rebecca Morrell move up into 13th position, and Crofton Woodhatch is going to continue doing some laps.
Yes, so it's there's a 3 that you see at the bottom. It says Bramley, Gade and Rass. Then there's also Jeffrey Decker, but I don't believe he is attending today, or at least not out on the server at the moment. So that is a big one for Hayden Bramley, who has always been up towards the front of the standings so far this year, but he's struggled for a couple of rounds. He did get a podium second race at Silverstone, but 3 races prior to that, only 1 points finish, and that was the 7th place. So not so many points in the last 4 rounds for him, and a exclusion from qualifying is not going to help his day, starting about 15th as Crofton Woodhatch coming up towards the line. Can there be any final improvements? He's going to have the pole position, but he can just put it to bed, and yes, he can improve some more with a .225.
Yeah, great qualifying session for Crofton Woodhatch around such a small circuit to have such a margin on those behind. You're absolutely right about those 4 drivers with exclusions being Bramley, Gade, Decker and Mario Rast. So obviously a big shame for them, but I'm sure they'll dig deep and try and find something in this race. One of the things about this circuit, though, as you can tell by its narrow, twisty nature, not the easiest circuit to work your way up. However, it is mistake prone, and that is even at the highest level. I have a great memory. It was 2014, and it was Colin Turkington, and I think he got disqualified from maybe the first race of the weekend, or he had an issue. Maybe he got tapped off in the first race of the weekend. Either way, second race of the weekend, he had to start from the rear end of the field, and it was at the point where British touring cars had a 30-car field, and still managed to work his way up onto the podium. It might have been 4th place, but it's certainly up there. I think it was 3rd spot. An excellent drive from Turkington. And again, it's proof that you can make some progress around here, be it obviously in real life or even on the sim.
It's definitely a track where other drivers make mistakes, so there'll be a lot of attrition from that. And as much as in some ways it's difficult to overtake, you can have a big send, especially into the final corner at Taylor's, if you're brave down in towards McIntyre as well. So there are some opportunities there, but it's certainly it's not easy. It's one where you have to be brave and you have to force your way through, but do not get penalties by doing so. This is one issue we've seen with a few drivers this season. You know, Milikangas for one, Hayden Bramley as well. Various situations where they get into these fights and unfortunately they come out with penalties, whereas they might as well just lose that one position and then not do it, because in a championship like this there aren't really that many rounds, and you can't afford, especially if you take into the drop rounds as well, there aren't many rounds that are counting towards your points, so you need to be getting those points on the board.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, again, we're going to have to sit down, Cam, and do some research, maybe over a round of golf, and do some number crunching as to what's going to happen with the title race when we go into the next round, when we go overseas into Circuit Zandvoort as to how early Crofton Woodhatch, because he definitely can win it early, but I have absolutely no idea how that works with drop scores. Unfortunately, not smart enough.
I mean, it's not even not smart enough. There's just so many variables to work that out whilst the race is going on, because it's not about the points you gain now, because it's the points that the other people will lose as well. Yeah. So there's sort of two factors going on there. But certainly for Crofton Woodhatch, he's got 4 in a row. Can he make it 5?
Obviously fighting for those prizes, the Hoisingveld pedals, of course, the named trophy, the paid entry into the 2026 British Formula 4 Esports Championship, a lucrative prize for a lot of these drivers and a fantastic one that they're aiming for. Of course, if you are just joining us here, remember that the British Formula 4 Esports Championship will follow after coverage of the UK Formula 4 1600. Let's take a look, though, at the starting grid for the opening race of the evening. It's Crofton Woodhatch, it's Charlie Summers, it's Matt Kendall, and of course, Jamie Hopper. Dylan McClements will start from 5th position, and Sam Sanders from 6th. 3 of those cars within a tenth of a second right toward the front. Behind that, it is just as tight. Stephen Miller-Kangas will start from 7th, alongside Jonathan Smith. Jaden Sherwood, 2nd of the title race, just from 9th position, with Wan Shi Lin alongside Brandon Loudon, and Paige Dofenbauer will start from 12th position. The final rows of the grid will see Rebecca Morrell, the last Rebecca Morrell and Mark Winter, the last drivers who set times in that session. Mario Rass, Isaac Gade, and Hayden Bramley with a lot of work to do from the final rows of the grid. Cameron Roger, who is winning?
Woodhatch. Well, I'm going to say Charlie Summers, just to spice it up a little bit.
I'm not spicing it up a little bit. But then I don't think this race is going to be clear-cut. I think Crofton Woodhatch might do it, but I don't think it's going to be so easy. Yes, he's got he had a decent margin in qualifying, but it is one of those tracks where you can use slipstream to your advantage, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. There's still plenty of places to get it done if you're aggressive enough. And the final corner Taylors is so wide and open. There's 3 or 4 lines that you can take there. And even if you can't get it in the corner, you can do the switchback and then get it down the front stretch. So it's a tough old circuit out there. And let's see how this one ends.
Crofton Woodhatch from pole position, the championship leader, the comfortable championship leader, looking for 5 victories in a row. Can he do it here? As we go racing north of the border, it is Woodhatch leading from that pole position. Not a great start from Charlie Summers, who's got Matt Kendall directly on the attack, heading into the opening corner. Jamie Hopper looks back over to the left-hand side as they flick their way, and that is Kendall going for the big slide. He manages to catch it, and a big slide and a big hop from Jamie Hopper, who is off the road down the field along with Sam Sanders as well. Huge drama for those higher up in the championship.
Yeah, that was not ideal. Hopper spinning around. Sanders couldn't avoid, getting flicked up into the air at only the second corner of asking. McClements has gone off. Oh no! Miller-Kangas and McClements. Was there contact between the two, or was that just a bit of collateral damage?
Yeah, obviously we'll have to take a look. Plenty to look back on here in the opening lap of the race. Said it wasn't going to be simple for Crofton Woodhatch. He's already built himself 7/10 of a second as a lead. Charlie Summers can keep in that slipstream, but it was a really poor start from Summers on that initial getaway, and I wonder if that played a factor in it. One of the main things about this circuit, similar to quite a lot of circuits here actually in the United Kingdom, like Brands Hatch and stuff, the start-finish straight is not flat. There was Hayden Bramley sliding all over the place, nearly going down the entrance of pit lane. He's got Jamie Hopper, who's just carved up there on the race into the opening corner. Now looks down the inside of Isaac Gade, flicks it around the outside as they go through the second corner. He was looking more to the inside as they go into McIntyre's, could not do anything about it, and remains himself in 12th place.
Yeah, amazing racing. They're already getting up a few positions thanks to a couple of other people, but then a nice move there, and already onto the back of Isaac Gade to try and get up into P11. Winter's got Loudon as well. So much gravel being flicked up into the air. The driver's pushing hard, and he's opening a couple laps to try and find a space in the queue. Are we going to see a big send in towards the final hairpin? Not quite enough this time around for Loudon. But I think up ahead, actually, Sherwood, Scott Smith, they've moved up some positions as well.
Sherwood had a great start to this race, hasn't he? Obviously the number 2 car there, potentially going to lose back out against Jonathan Smith, who's looking to the inside in the 56 on that race into T1. But of course it will be Jaden Sherwood hanging on, slipstream back of Matt Kendall. A few things to touch on that race. So yes, again, great start from Jaden Sherwood to go from 9th up to 4th position. Also, shout out to Matt Kendall, who was about 90 degrees to the racing line on that slide through the opening corner. Still running in this race in 3rd spot.
Yeah, definitely had some help, both facing the wrong way and then facing the right way again, but he's not going to complain about that one as he's still on a podium place for now, but he's got two fast, hungry drivers coming for this. Let's see this. We're going to be 3 wide. So McClement's on the inside giving the initial knock. Then I was actually Sanders who hits Hopper initially, then gets re-hit. Was there further contact? No, he managed to get out of the way of everyone else, but there was about 3 or 4 separate incidents there going on. McClement sends it over. He sends it over, and Milikangas just follows him into the gravel.
So easy to do. It's such high commitment through that chicane, especially on the opening lap. Milikangas was actually having his own moment there, as Dylan McClements was as well. So the pair of them having basically their own moments, but joining in it as Hayden Bramley down the inside of Mark Winter and McIntyre's up into 9th position. So some more progress coming in from the 26 that has started from the rear end of this field. Progress being made, but now a 1.2 second gap up to Brandon Loudon. I do think Hayden Bramley is fast enough to close that up. I think a podium might be a little bit out of reach, but maybe not necessarily. A top 5? There is maybe the chance, especially if there's some drama up ahead.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The gap to Wan Chi Lin, or between Wan Chi Lin and Smith, though, is a bit of a problem. Smith, the driver's talking about, we're on board with him, down in towards the first corner at Duffer's Dip. Is there going to be any moves? We've got Sherwood up ahead, then Kendall. I think they're trying to push each other to catch up to the top 2. The issue is they're just losing time. They're 4 seconds off Summers already, just in the opening couple of laps of this race. That's not ideal. Summers is keeping well with Woodhatch, but unfortunately, Kendall does not have the speed as... Wow, what a send over that chicane. These 1600 cars really do ride it well, considering the amount of movement that they get. And once again, all over the gravel. Is there going to be a move now to hairpin?
Yeah, they are not messing around in this group. Again, it is Kendall, then Sherwood, then Smith, who are on board with here, closing up with some Formula... Is that Formula Drift? I don't really know my drifting cars, if I'm honest.
I mean, that is the that's the name of the championship, yeah.
that is the name of the championship. Couldn't work out. I think there was an RX-8 in there. Didn't see what the other one was. But you know, there's some cars. Not really, not. It's literally
Tokyo Drift, the movie. What you're talking about?
No, it definitely was not Tokyo Drift. I've watched that film. Either way, here comes a look. Let's get back onto the topic of the race and not embarrass myself on topics I am very uneducated on. As we ride on board with Wan Chi Lin, full commitment over the top of the crest, is now looking down the inside of Rebecca Morel, heading back out towards the railway straight through the Clark curve. Maybe pushes out Rebecca Morel, who could lose out here to Loudon and Bramley.
Yeah, hip check there, but actually Morel's going to get absolutely rinsed here. Going to be 2 further cars down the inside. Unfortunately, it's going to be Loudon and Bramley, but not quite enough. Morel all the way around the outside to defend that position and actually managed to get those 2 places back. But Wan Chi Lin, a bit of aggressive move there up into Clark and is holding on to this. Loudon with no slipstream is getting, obviously going backwards down this front straight in towards the first corner. Morel to the inside to try and retake the position on Lin. What a move this would be. She's going to have the inside down in towards McIntyre, but not quite enough. So it's going to be Bramley on the outside trying to go through that open door, but not enough. So Morel just about holds on, and so does Bramley.
Yeah, she managed to avoid getting freight trained on the railway straight on the previous lap. Will that happen on a second occasion as they head into the Clark curve? A lot of curb being used there over one side. Look at this, though, for the race lead. Croft and Woodhatch aiming for 5 on the bounce. 9 minutes left to go in the race. Charlie Summers, your pick for this race, Cam, says not so fast, my good sir. Closed back in, kept the pace up, and is now knocking at the door of a potential victory here at Knockhill.
Yeah, I tell you what, I just like the look of it in qualifying. Summers is normally towards the lower end of the top 10, but even with it being such close qualifying, bagged that lap for second place and is keeping up with Woodhatch. And I tell you what, the final few laps of this race are going to be difficult for Woodhatch. He's going to have an aggressive driver and Charlie Summers behind him, and it's not like Summers has had loads of good results. He's only had 1 podium so far this season. He's going to be hungry to try and get this victory.
Yeah, certainly so. And there is the opportunity for it. 8 minutes and 20 seconds left. There's loads of time in this race. Charlie Summers deep onto the brakes, heading down into the final corner at Taylor's. But of course, finding an opportunity around here is not the easiest. Using slipstream to close your way back in, that's no problem, no bueno around here. Finding that move, that is difficult. All the straights are really quite short. The corners are quite flowing. Even that hairpin at the end of the lap is relatively fast for a hairpin as tight as it is. And he has had a terrible exit there from McIntyre's.
Yeah, there's me bigging him up, and then he goes off. I guess it might be for the amount of time lost. This is huge. And going...
You must have slowed down at T2.
Yeah. Yeah, because going from a 10th behind to now being well over a second, I mean, that's basically going to be race done. Because he's going to be out the slipstream as well. So this could be very important as in behind. We've seen also Sherwood's got up into 3rd place, and now we're seeing Smith trying to come through, and Kendall as well, who might lose a 2nd position. And I think Smith is going to complete this one. Yes, he does. So Kendall, after holding on to P3 for a long, long time since the start of the race, is now going backwards.
Do wonder if Kendall might have some damage on that car as well, courtesy of the tap coming in from Dylan McClements on the opening lap of this race, who, by the way, has raced his way back up into 11th position, which I think is a pretty incredible drive from Dylan McClements, considering that car definitely does have some damage on it. The car he made contact with is out of this race. Here we go then through the opening corner, and it is Hayden Bramley now ahead of Wan Chi-Lin. Bramley with, what, 6 seconds to close up to the next group. That feels unlikely. Important moment, though, to see if Bramley can break away from Lynn Loudon Morel and Paige Dopenbaugh, who's back into this fight all the way up to 6th position.
I tell you what, this race has broken up into little battle packs more than I thought, considering how close this circuit normally is. Loudon's down the inside of Lynn, down in towards Taylor's. He should have this one done as well, but Lynn's going to go all the way around the outside, turns in a bit too much, makes contact with Loudon, who was right there up the inside, and Lynn is going to be losing a whole host of positions here, and is going to be going well outside top 15.
Going to be hard work to drag that one back in this late in the race. Like you say, those gaps and groups have grown, and in all of that they become harder to traverse as the race goes on, and there's little time left to go. Big moment coming in from Jaden Sherwood, who's going to lose out both positions here to Jonathan Smith and Matt Kendall, rejoining the circuit in 5th position, losing that important time, losing those important positions, and now with the gap being over a 1.5 seconds, will receive no slipstream help from the 2 ahead.
Yeah, that's a big move. All sort of big moves. Kendall to regain 3rd place. What a battle. This is Smith on the outside, Kendall on the inside, and the 67 moves up into 3rd place, but Smith gets the run back down towards Duffer's Dip. He's going to have the inside line in towards the braking zone as well. This is the place that you want to be, unless Kendall feels brave around the outside. He was sideways here on the opening lap of the race, backs out a bit this time, and Smith goes back and into 3rd place.
Smart move to back out of that one. You don't really want to leave it side by side through the opening corner. I mean, you could leave it a little bit later on in the race if you wanted to go side by side there. This is a little bit further down to what you saw with Wan Chi-Lin. It's just sent around. I think he did give enough room on the inside.
Yes.
From that angle.
Yeah, now that I've seen it from that angle, it's slightly different, but you'll naturally take a very late apex because of the massive incline there, so I don't think Loudon was offline as such, as there's Sherwood going wide, losing the 2 places a couple of laps ago. So I don't think there's going to be too much in the way of fault with that one, to be honest, looking at that. No. I don't think there should be a penalty for that.
No, but again, that is something, thankfully, we don't have to deal with. Race control, of course, we do have stewards both here in the UK Formula 4 1600s and, of course, in British Formula 4 Esports as well, all dealt with behind the scenes, trying to figure out and adjudicate every incident to make sure that we've got some pretty safe and secure racing and some entertaining stuff as well. Jonathan Smith taking a lot of that curve, I think having a better line there through that chicane than Matt Kendall. Kendall just trying to keep close. You have to wonder if that car is slightly out of balance after the opening lap. Looks all right on the steering wheel. Maybe we'll catch up with him after the race if he's able to grab the podium. Here he looks down the inside of Jonathan Smith and heading down into the final corner. Bit deep on the brakes comes in Jonathan Smith, but Kendall will complete the move and up into 3rd place he goes.
Oh, I love this battle that we are seeing. Less than 5 minutes to go. They know the time is running out, but around here, that is actually quite a lot of laps. So it gives you some good opportunities to the outside. This time it's Smith who backs out of it. Just waiting. It looks like they're going to maybe flip-flop the positions every lap down in towards the hairpin, but let's see if that one continues. Are there any mistakes? Sherwood has regained contact and, of course, can make a double move in reverse of what he did a few laps ago if something happens to the cars ahead.
Closing in, heading into the brakes. That little dab of the brakes and the right-hander at Clark. And in all of their fighting, as you say, Jaden Sherwood is back knocking at the door. There is 3 minutes left to go. It'll feel like you're heading onto the penultimate lap, but don't worry. The next lap, this lap is not the penultimate lap. The next lap is not the penultimate lap. Still got a long way to go with the 50-odd seconds left. It should be, by my calculation, 4 at the line.
Yeah, that is crazy as Sherwood gets a huge run on Smith down in towards the first corner. The number 2 is going to make that stick massively later. Break in there actually almost went into the back of Kendall. So he's up into 4th place. Can he get Kendall? I believe, as we're saying, that Kendall is a bit slower, maybe carrying some damage from that. Maybe even just a couple of tenths around here can be all the advantage that you need. So Sherwood is all over the back and must be looking up the inside. Not quite into Clark. Keep it calm and get the run down in towards Taylor's.
There's going to be a few more position switches between this group. You get the feeling over the final few laps of this race. Croft and Woodhatch about to get ready to head on to the 3rd to last, the ante-penultimate lap. Here comes a look to the inside for Jaden Sherwood. Down the inside onto 3rd position. Big slide though and a big kick on the rears. 3 wide the start-finish straight. Here we go. Left-hand side of your screen is Smith. Middle, it is Jaden Sherwood. Right-hand side, and that is Matt Kendall, who drops back into line. Still side by side in the battle for the podium. Jaden Sherwood around the outside, fully committed to the opening corner to retake 3rd position despite that slide at Taylor's.
What a battle here at Knockhill. All these drivers want the podium, but there's only one person who will be able to get that, as that's wide for Sherwood. And up the inside we go for Jonathan Smith to retake 3rd place. These guys are pushing to the absolute limit. They're making mistakes and the doors are opening, but who is going to come out on top? I just wonder. Could be any of these, as it's Smith leads, but it's now Sherwood to try and retake that position down in towards the hairpin. He's going to break late, but not enough, as Smith holds it to the outside. Oh, he's gone too deep though, and Sherwood retakes it.
So confident on the brakes despite even that moment on the previous lap. Penultimate lap about to begin here. Jaden Sherwood in 3rd position. Smith and Kendall behind. Nothing's happening for the race lead. 1.8 seconds for Croft and Woodhatch, who looks to be on for 5 in a row. They work their way to the opening corner once more, and it is still Sherwood ahead of Smith and Kendall. Hayden Brownlee too far off the rear end of this. He will not be fighting for the podium unless something hugely dramatic happens in this fight.
I think it probably will, as we're getting towards the very end of this race. Final couple of opportunities down in towards the hairpin. Kendall is looking, he's sitting, he's waiting for an opportunity. You can make a double move around this track, maybe not at once, but maybe you can. It's so wide here in towards the hairpin. Late braking from Sherwood on the inside, but Smith once again goes wide. He'll get the cutback, but there's not enough space. Kendall cuts that one off, and onto the final lap we go.
Final lap, final opportunities. Final few corners for them to define these decisive moves. On the podium at the moment is that Takar, the number 2 of Jaden Sherwood, looking to the outside. Jonathan Smith going full send into the opening corner. Can't quite do it. Looks for the up and under. The time's running out, Cam. It really comes down to that final hairpin. That's the only opportunity left.
I think so. So do not make a mistake here. Coming through the chicane, judge your usage of the curb to perfection. No one is off into the gravel, but it's a defensive line from Sherwood. That's going to slow him down. That's going to open up the opportunity for Smith to get a run. Oh, maybe contact in the back. He's slowed down, and maybe neither of them will get him.
Matt Kendall could be able to find his way through now, out through the final corner though. It's an incredible drive once again. Pole position to victory, 5 in a row for Croft and Woodhatch, the championship leader. The 22 is in control in 2025. Behind that is Summers. Behind that is Sherwood. Onto the podium from 9th place here at Knockhill. Across the line they go. That tight fight for 3rd sees Sherwood ahead of Smith and Kendall.
And what a battle we've seen here at Knockhill. If that is going to be the way the next 3 races go this evening, then I'm really looking forward to see how the championship is going to stand at the end of it. It just showed you can battle around here. It has to be a bit of a flip-flop battle. It's not going to stay the same. When you get into these little battle packs of 2-3 drivers, you can really put on a good show.
Certainly can. Certainly can. And I get the feeling, you're being hopeful. I get the feeling we are going to see it. I think we're going to see 3 very good races after this around here. Of course, 1 more here in the Formula Ford 1600s. And of course, 2 British Formula 4 Esports races a little bit later on this evening. Whilst we're talking about this second race, it's time for the all-important conversation. It's time to bring out the spinny wheel and find out which position will be the reverse grid pole. We've had some big numbers this season. We've had some bad news to break to Croft and Woodhatch. Still, he's been able to rise his way up the order. Oh, it's going to be a 9. Poor guy.
Oh, my word.
Oh, no.
What a track for it as well.
What a track for it. Look, Jaden Sherwood went from 9th up to 3rd. As long as you avoid all the early drama, I'm sure... we'll have to wait and see. We'll catch up with Croft in a second and we'll break the news to him live on air for you. Let's take a look at the provisional race finish as well and those 9 cars that will be reversed. So Brandon Loud will be starting from the reverse grid pole. Here are the results then from the race. It's Croft and Woodhatch ahead by 2.2 seconds of Charlie Summers. Jaden Sherwood in third position, with, of course, Smith and Kendall inside the top 5. Then it is Bramley. McClements up to 7th. Great recovery drive, by the way, for the Irishman. Rebecca Morrell into 8th position with Brandon Loudon and Paige Dofenbaugh. Fastest lap of the race, of course, going that way of Charlie Summers in that 2nd position. Sam Sanders down to 11th after early drama. Isaac Gade up from the rear end of the field to 12th. Wan Chi Lin in 13th position with Mark Winter, then Mario Ras, Jamie Hopper and Timi Milikangas, the sole retirement from the race, which is a huge shame, but yeah, someone has to retire, I guess, if it's a chaotic affair. I'm surprised we've only got one retirement from the proceedings. Let's start talking to some of our drivers, and of course we've got to begin with the one major place, and that is with Croft and Woodhatch, our driver that we've caught up with time and time again this season, and we've seen him a lot the last few rounds, including 4 victories before this. We're on 5 consecutive victories, Croft. The record's 6 by Henry Moore. I mean, that's an incredible drive. Talk to us about it. I mean, you looked fairly measured and controlled through that one.
Yeah, thank you. I got a good jump. I seemed to get a good launch over everyone else. I already had like a 8/10 gap or something going into the first sector. I think there was a bit of carnage behind, and then Charlie was the only one that got through it. But yeah, no, it was still a tough race. Charlie was right there on the edge of toe for ages. I made a little mistake, and then he was right up behind me. But then he got to slow down a bit later on. But it's tough because the chicane is a bit tricky. I'm struggling a little bit in the final corner as well, just for a little bit of consistency. But no, good race nonetheless.
We did see some great battles behind you, including an excellent 3-way fight for 3rd position. It seems like you can do battle around the circuit. I mean, Jaden Sherwood proved that with a run from 9th up to 3rd. We saw a great drive from Hayden Bramley from the rear end of the field up the order as well, proving that once again overtaking is possible around here. Reverse grid time. You know, I'm here to break the bad news here. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's not good news, mate. It's 9th place. What do you feel like is going to come from there? Because again, we've had some big numbers. I remember you talking about this last round. We've had some big numbers this season. What are you feeling about that? What do you think is possible from there? Do you think the win is possible, 6 in a row?
I think anything's possible, really. But I'm not going to push for it too much. I need to I've got quite a big gap at the minute in the points. I need to just make sure that I get better than, well, I need to make sure that I don't have a worse round than what I've had already in Donington and Thruxton. So I need to get higher than 7th, really. But I'm not going to push for it too much. I'll just see what happens. I think the race will come to you around here if you're just a bit patient. But I also think that I will need to be aggressive at some point, just so I don't get pushed all the way back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, scoring points is far more important than being dragged into this commentary booth after race 2 and having a chat with me. Obviously, we're in this final 3-week stretch. We've got Zandvoort, and then, of course, we've got that season finale. How are you feeling about these final 3 circuits on the season? Seems like you're obviously kicking things off with a good one for you.
Yeah, I'm confident round. Not as confident round here, but I'm confident around Zandvoort and Brands. They were 2 good qualifyings for me last year. Races in Zandvoort didn't go great, but they're 2 strong qualifyings, and I've been decent in qualifying this season so far. So as long as I could be at the front for the first race, and then I've just got to manage the second race as best as I can.
Well, best of luck. 6 victories this season, 5 in a row. We'll see if we'll catch up with you after race 2. If not, have a good one.
Thank you.
There you go. A lot of chats this season with Croft and Woodhatch. Let's talk to someone who we've not spoken to so much this season. Just a single podium before in this championship campaign. That was back in Thruxton. Of course, we've got Charlie Summers here in the commentary booth. Great drive to 2nd place. Kind of came from an excellent qualifying session as well. You were able to keep up with Croft and Woodhatch in the early stages. What do you make of your first race here at Knockhill this season? Seemed like a fun one.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting track. This I've not done much racing here. I mean, at least not on the Formula 4. I've done bits in like the TCRs, which can take even more curb than this can. But yeah, the fact you can just completely launch it is a bit different to a lot of tracks. Given that this is such a tiny car, you'd expect to just end up in a barrier. But that's sort of what you've got to do to be quick here.
But this circuit kind of respects little cars. You know, we've seen obviously Formula 4s race around here in real life. We see British Formula 4 come here in real life. We see the legends around here in real life as well. It's a bit of a crazy track for small cars. Seems like a fun one though to challenge. Of course, I know obviously you only saw a little bit there of Crofton before you had a bit of a slowdown and then dropped off the rear end. But what's battling like around here? I mean, look, it seems like a fun track for it. You're probably going to have to do some in the reverse grid race from 8th.
Yeah, I definitely imagine I will. One thing that was interesting that I think is going to help Crofton out was he got an absolutely mega launch. So he immediately sort of gapped all of us. And I had to defend from 3rd, who then had to defend from 4th and 5th. And I think there was a little bit of a incident behind. So yeah, if I can figure out what he's doing to get that mega launch, hopefully I can clear some of the people around me off the start, because yeah, it's really tricky to get enough of a pull to pass, because I was closing Crofton in with the slipstream, but it was really hard to actually get close enough to make a move because all the straights are so short. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting reverse for sure.
You feel like you've got to make a lot of those moves basically early on in the race, I assume, yeah, because it is quite a tricky one to find your way through. But like you say, those race down in the turn one, we're expecting kind of a chaotic one. Is that what you're ready for? Yeah, some drama down into T1?
Well, I mean, as ready as you can be. You never know with these things, but yeah, just hope for the best, try and keep my nose clean. And I now have 1, 2, 3 monitors. So hopefully I'll be able to see a bit more of what's going on around me as well. I think that definitely helped with that first race.
I'm sure it definitely will here in the second as well. Charlie, thank you so much. And again, we'll be chatting to you soon, I'm sure.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
There we go. Charlie Summers next up. It's Jaden Sherwood. We'll chat to him quickly before we let him focus on the practice for the session. I'm sure you're already back out on the circuit there. I can see you mussing your way around. Quick one then, Jaden. Obviously, second in the championship. A great drive there onto the podium from 9th place. I mean, was that just qualifying going slightly skew for you?
Yeah, I think all season qualifying's not really been my strong point, to say the least. So I guess I'm used to like coming from the back, really. But yeah, I'm quite excited for race 2 now, since I've had like, a decent bit of experience coming from the back this season.
Well, I mean, obviously, reverse grid, it means you're being dropped down the field to 7th place in this one, but you've proven you can rise your way up. Confident of doing the same thing in this and maybe sneaking a victory from here at Knockhill? Yeah,
100%. I feel like I had the race pace in that. We did lose a bit of time to the leaders through like battling, but yeah, I feel confident. I definitely feel like I can win. So yeah.
We'll let you focus on your preparation, all right? Best of luck. 4 minutes time for the next race. All right, see you in a bit.
Bye.
There we go. Jaden Sherwood, of course. Superb to hear from. And again, great to hear from our podium. Great for another victory for Crofton. 5 in a row. Mega stuff.
Yeah, this is awesome. So he's got 5 obviously wins in a row. He's had 5 pole positions in qualifying as well. Obviously, he's a 6th win from the first race of the season as well, the very first one in Donington Park. So he's looking good, but it's definitely not over. He's just got so many points on the board, though. He can afford a couple of bad races in Zandvoort and Brands Hatch GP, to be honest. But he's just got to keep going. Try to not get knocked out like Kendall there almost did. And then obviously Sanders and Hopper in that first corner incident. That's really going to be the biggest problem, is someone else having an issue around him.
I do think that was a great drive from Jaden Sherwood, driver who sits 2nd in the championship, to move up to 3rd from 9th place. Heard it in the interview there, struggles a little bit in qualifying. Clearly doesn't struggle in the race. And we've seen that across the season, despite, I wouldn't necessarily say being too aggressive. I think he is aggressive through the field, but I think it kind of works. Proof of that is, of course, we're 11 races into the season, doesn't have a single retirement to his name, despite sometimes the poor qualifyings and finding that progress through. I think he's got a really good chance in this race of pulling something out of the bag, and kind of needs to maybe close some of those points down a little bit on Crofton.
Yeah, definitely has a lot of race pace. How many times did we see him just go off a little bit wide into the gravel or whatever, and then he caught straight back up to Kendall and Smith? So he's got that pace there. If he was probably third place in qualifying, he would have gone off with Summers and Woodhatch, to be honest, looking at the pace that he's got. Now he's starting next to them in the pack, so we'll have to see who's going to work through the field the best. I think it's going to be a risk versus reward thing. Crofton doesn't need to take the risk, whereas, to be honest, championship wise, Sherwood has a lot of points to catch up, and especially because obviously if you're looking at his worst results that he's losing like a 14th and a 9th and then a 9th and a 6th, but in his other ones that are going to count, he has a 6th and a 6th, compared to Crofton's comparative round is a 1st and a 7th. So many more points that Crofton got in that round.
Certainly so, but then it's where you think about where the attention is for Jaden. I'm sure at the moment the attention with 5 races left to go is obviously, well, trying to hunt down and maybe find that title, and I 100% understand that, and I get that mentality. But of course, do remember those prizes. Of course, there's prizes for the top 3. It's the pedal sets, the Huizenveld pedal sets, which is obviously great prize for the top 3. There is also that fully funded seat for British Formula 4 next season. Esports, of course, not the full championship. We're not handing out those kind of prizes. Me and Cam have already commented on that once before. It was a long time ago. It'll be that's a prize for the top 2, first and second place. Doesn't matter which way around you are, you get that fully funded seat in the British Formula 4 Esports. And I think then for Jaden, it's kind of maybe the focus on just trying to hang on against those behind.
Yeah, and if you can use that to your good effect to move your way up, get signed by a proper team for next season, that would be really cool. And he's got number 2 on his car. Is that an omen for where he's going to finish in this championship? We'll certainly have to find out. Having said that, Croft is double 2. He's 22. So
all the 2s.
All the 2s add towards the front, but someone's got to win.
Yeah, and do remember again, now obviously, with the Mark Fletchers and the Henry Moores who have won this title course, Henry Moore went on to go and sign for Guild and then Team Bennick, which is obviously great and all. Even for those second place drivers, of course, Shomi Shintani last year is a Williams Esports driver. Going back to the first season, though, got to give him a bit of a shout out. Dana Moore is obviously doing great in the Formula 4 Esports Global Formula 4 Esports Championship here on iRacing, the official basically open wheel championship at this part of the season, which is excellent to see. Some of the strength of the field. From when we started commentating on him, he was obviously part of smaller teams, Avery Sports and such. Then has moved into Apex, which was great. Now he's driving for one of the biggest names in sim racing in Coanda, which is crazy, by the way. Great opportunity. And the proof is, again, first, second, this is a strong championship when we get some good drivers. Anyway, deep breath. I've got to get through 17 drivers pretty quickly. Brandon Loudon will be starting from pole position. Rebecca Morrell alongside. Dylan McClements and Hayden Bramley will start alongside on the second row, with Kendall and Smith on row number 3. Behind that, it's Sherwood, Summers and Woodhatch. Those 3 drivers were on the podium. Paige Dopenbaum missed out on the reverse grid. Sam Sanders down to 11th position after opening drama, and Isaac Gade alongside Wan Chi Lin, Mark Winter, Mario Ras, Jamie Hopper and Timu Milikangas. The sole retirement for the opening race of the evening. Karen Roger, you've not got very long. Who's winning? Sherwood, straight up Sherwood. I respect it. I'm going to go with Woodhatch. He's going to get the 6. Let's see. 15 minutes onto the clock for the second time this evening. We are racing with Brandon Loudon leading, heading down into the opening corner. Rebecca Morrell with a slow start, getting attacked by Dylan McClements, who had some drama in the opening race, who gets down the inside and into second place. Hayden Bramley up to 3rd. Don't forget about him as well. Started from the rear of the field, worked his way up into a solid position in the previous race. Now runs 3rd in this one. There's a couple of drivers going backwards. Jaden Sherwood already up to 6th position, having got it past Jonathan Smith.
Oh, as a big wiggle though goes off into the gravel. Smith might have the run down in towards Clark Curve. We'll have to see if he's able to hold on with that one. Off into the grass goes McClements from the lead of the race as well. We are side by side with Smith as well in the background, but Loudon going for the lead around the outside. Is not going to have the preferable line in towards the braking zone up the hairpin. He's going to have to be all the way around the outside. McClements should have that one done, and now comes Brownlee up the front straight.
So McClements then up to the race lead. Brandon Loudon had it down into turn 1, but clearly there's been some mistakes maybe through the chicane. The door was open. Dylan McClements has come through and is in position to take a victory. Inside line going into the opening corner. Straight around the outside goes Brandon Loudon, using that VR to try and find his way back into the race lead. Excellent spatial awareness from him, of course. And now Dylan McClements says, I don't think so, my good sir. Squeeze him straight off. Loudon's backwards. He's down behind Rebecca Morrell as Hayden Bramley's now knocking at the door for yet another victory.
So much gravel being kicked up here at Knockhill. All the drivers pushing the limits of this very narrow track as Kendall goes back behind Smith. Sherwood is up into 5th place, and Loudon is now trying to regain some ground, but it is Morel up ahead in that 3rd position. Up for the lead, though, it is McClements leading for another time of asking. Morel beelining it to the apex there in defense of Loudon, but it's one big long train as all the drivers being squeezed together with this reverse grid. Just side by side in the background, though, Summers and Sanders go almost 3 wide there too.
Indeed they do. Crofton Woodhatch now making it 3 wide to the outside. Is going to go full send, is he? Or is he going to back out of that one, giving plenty of room as the number 22 around the outside of Charlie Summers. Woodhatch is going to go up to 8th position. Sam Sanders knocking at the door. There was a slide off. It's Mark Winter who's dropped backwards as they run their way through the 2nd corner of this race. And it is Mark Winter dropping down to 17th. Battle for the race lead. Dylan McClements and Hayden Bramley going into battle. 2 race winners this season. Hayden Bramley with 1 victory back in Thruxton. Of course, Dylan McClements did have that victory in the reverse grid race at Snetterton, and now they run 1st and 2nd in this one with Bramley ahead. Remember, he started this evening from the rear of the field. He's doing a fantastic job.
Oh, in the background, someone off Matt Kendall it is. Was there contact with the likes of Summers that he was battling that sort of area of the track, but he's going to be back down and with Mark Winter, who had the spin up towards the front, though. Sherwood making moves, aggressive, like we saw in that first race. Another one done. Morel ticked off and now is chasing down the podium already. 12 minutes to go.
Which is absolutely incredible, the fact that he's knocking at that door. Hayden Bramley's trying to check out. He's got 0.4 of a second of a lead. Out wide a little bit goes both Dylan McClements and Jaden Sherwood. Rebecca Morel with Jonathan Smith directly behind in 5th and 6th position. They've got the championship leader knocking at the door behind them. Let's take a look at what happened to Matt Kendall then. So there's Crofton Woodhatch directly behind. Kendall's around the outside. Woodhatch is there. A little bit of a brush between them and some weird contact sent him off. I think that's just a racing deal to me.
Yep. He was squeezing a little bit too much there on the inside. Woodhatch was as far as he could to the right-hand side. I don't think there's any more he could have done. So that is a big, big shame for Kendall, who was looking to be in the fight for this championship, but after a couple of bad rounds, might be struggling with just 4 races to go after this one in this championship. We are looking at Moreau, who's having a solid evening tonight, currently holding on to that 5th position. But look at the drivers stacked up behind: Smith, Woodhatch, Summers, Sanders. Some of 4 of the best drivers in this championship. And now Woodhatch is getting the run on Smith. He's thinking about it, down towards Clark. Interesting, bold move there, but the 22 gets past.
But of course, we'll have the slipstream on the railway straight to bring him back up to speed behind Rebecca Morel, and then we'll maybe look for a move. The important thing is that the top 4 are starting to check away, and I'm sure Woodhatch will feel that off into the grass in the background. Sam Sanders and Isaac Gade, I believe, when might have been Charlie Summers rather. He was slightly off as well. Crofton Woodhatch getting back through on Jonathan Smith, who was going on the attack, having a bit of a lunge down into the final corner. A side by side for the race lead. Dylan McClements going for it. He looks to the outside in the green and orange car, straight to the outside of the opening corner. The white and blue of Hayden Bramley on the inside as they work their way through turn 2. Inside of McIntyre's for Hayden Bramley, straight around the outside for Dylan McClements, side by side up towards the chicane. Someone's got to back out. Surely it has to be Dylan McClements, who's now going to go for the up and under on the run into Clark, and it's beautifully done. A big mistake coming in from Hayden Bramley, who drops down to the 3rd position. Make that 4th as Jaden Sherwood also works his way through.
What a move there by McClements. Judged it to perfection. I thought, you've got to back out. Surely no, kept his foot in it, had the momentum up towards Clark. Beautiful move, has the race lead. Side by side, Sherwood's going to be 2nd here, surely. On the exit of the final corner, he is. And he's up there, now chasing McClements. So 3rd place for Loudon. Bramley is going to be in 4th, but for 5th place, it's now Woodhatch to the outside. He's got a distant slipstream up ahead. How aggressive, how much risk does he want to take on the outside? We're 3 wide up ahead. Sherwood thought he had 2nd place, but now it's going to be Bramley down the inside. Sherwood is stuck there as Loudon goes off, trying to avoid a contact, and Bramley will take 2nd place.
Woodhatch still side by side with Morel, gets the better drive coming off of McIntyre. A little bit of brush between them. Rebecca Morel will come straight back through, remain side by side, pushes Crofton Woodhatch off the road, and now Woodhatch going to lose a whole heap of ground. The thing is, that train up ahead is all still so close. I wouldn't be too far away from thinking this lot's all going to close their way back up. Incredible fighting here. Dylan McClements leads by 1.4 seconds, trying to end the run of victories for Crofton Woodhatch. It is McClements from Bramley, from Sherwood, Loudon, Summers, and then this whole fight that sees Sanders, Morel and Smith all in battle over 6th place.
I don't think they've remained in the same order for 2 corners in a row in this whole race so far. It is pretty incredible. So Sanders has got that one done past Morel. That's actually 2 places effectively, getting Smith at the same time. Isaac Gade, I haven't spoken about him so much this season, but he is right in there in this top 10 battle, as it is a whole train of cars. You always get this in the reverse grid race because there's slightly slower drivers at the front. It backs everyone up, and then the battles don't help that either. Sending it over the curve, goes wide. No one's going to be diving down his inside, or maybe they are. Milikangas thinking about it, wide at Clark curve, goes Gade, and Milikangas will get that one done.
Isaac Gade has had just 2 top 10 finishes this season. Also drives with earphones, which I think is a wild choice, as I think there is a bit of a look coming in from Crofton Woodhatch behind, who's not having a particularly great race here. Wan Shi Lin knocking at the door. The thing is, we heard it in the interview from Woodhatch. He said this race will come to you. I don't think he needs to be too panicked right now. We're not even halfway through this race. And importantly, 5.6 seconds separates first through 13th in this race. There's a bit of a moment coming in from Isaac Gade, and Crofton Woodhatch will pick that one up.
And Lynn is going to be getting through as well. A bit of a wiggle there. So Gade, he was in 9th place a lap ago, now down to 13th. Just shows you how a couple of small mistakes can be very big around this track. But Clements has pulled away at the front and is looking good. Bramley Sherwood for 2nd place, and is Loudon, Summers and Sanders. So we're now splintering into some little packs here, like we saw in that first race. Summers dives it to the inside. That is going to be 4th position on Loudon. And now in the background is going to be Milikangas. Oh, Summers gone wide. He went in way too deep. He thought he was going to be getting up into 4th, but it's going to be down to 6th.
Sam Sanders now might be going for a move down the inside of Brandon Loudon for that 4th position. So where Charlie Summers has given it a go and it's not worked, Sam Sanders will make the send and will complete the move into the opening corner. Like you say, there is a bit of a gap appearing for first place, but do not rule out Hayden Bramley and Jaden Sherwood for victory here. They don't fight too hard and they find some good speed round. They will close up to McClements, especially if there is a mistake. Remember, McClements has won a race this season, been on the podium twice, but those behind as well, they also have victories to their name. Jaden Sherwood with 1, Hayden Bramley with 1. In fact, there's only 2 drivers on this field that have more than 1 victory. One of them is, of course, Sam Sanders, who has 2 victories to his name. The other one, shock of all shocks, is this driver here. It is Crofton Woodhatch with 6 victories to his name, up past Rebecca Morel, back inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's a lovely recovery. He doesn't need to win this race, but as many points as he can get will make the final couple of rounds easier and easier, and less big wins being needed. He just needs to cruise home for this championship, really. And I was just looking at Sam Sanders. He's up 7 places into 4th position at the moment. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a gap ahead up to Sherwood, but he's doing such a good job after being upside down almost in turn 2 on the first race. Is now looking at a podium if something is to happen ahead. And I think Sherwood and Bramley, some of the more aggressive drivers on this field, might be having a bit of a fight. Let's see who is going to be leading as we come out of the hairpin. Down the inside is going to be for Sherwood, braking later, getting that late apex, and has that one done. Bramley actually not fighting that as much as I expected.
Great move from Sherwood. Like you say, I think Hayden Bramley's eyes are a little affixed slightly further up the field, maybe seeing that Jaden Sherwood does have some decent speed at the moment. Let's try and use it, try and use some of that confidence, try and use some of that energy to close up to Dylan McClements as time ticks away. Still plenty of laps though left to go as the fight remains in the running of, was it 6th on back? You've got Timo Milikangas, Jonathan Smith. We ride on board with Jamie Hopper, who runs in 8th position at the moment. Summers behind, and of course Crofton Woodhatch all knocking at the door. You can see the wall there of Jamie Hopper. It looks almost shiny and metallic. That's most courtesy of the light.
Yeah, that's a nice little glow there. A bit of a dance as well. A lot of looks into the mirror, just sort of expecting some moves from behind. Not this time around though. There's Morel and Lynn battling for just outside the top 10, but no moves being made just yet. It seems like calm down for one lap. No big sense being made. Maybe this is the time that we're going to see first of all Hopper down the inside of Smith in towards the first corner. That's 7th position done as Smith actually comes in there very nicely. That's going to open up the door though for Woodhatch maybe to think about it down towards McIntyre. Not this time around, so he's going to have to sit there nicely. So Woodhatch and Summers, they haven't made many moves. They're basically where they started at this reverse grid.
Whose wall was it that you were a big fan of on the webcam? Do you remember?
Wall.
There was a there.
Your Conor Muir.
Oh, it might be. Well, we'll find out if we get into some British Formula 4 Esports racing. We'll see if Conor Muir's about and see if it is. I don't know. I don't think it was. I'm not sure. Well, either way, we'll keep our eyes focused on the race. Woodhatch made the move on Jonathan Smith. Wan Chilin down the inside of Rebecca Morel up into 11th position at the moment. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this race. Still plenty of laps, about 5 at the moment, as there was a bit of a brush between Bramley and Sherwood. 1.3 seconds for the race lead. But I don't necessarily think that one's going to be closing down. What is closing down is that battle for 3rd and 4th. And a big moment as well for Timo Milikangas, who has lost his rear left wheel, I believe.
Yeah, broken rear left. That's going to be race done. And also for 3rd place, Sam Sanders is there. He really is coming. And it's not just the speed as he needs to... Yeah, box. He needs to... it's not just the speed for Sanders catching up to Sherwood, but it's also to McClements. He's gained a second on McClements, and that is why he's there. The gap between Bramley and McClements has stayed the same. This is Sanders being faster than the 3 of them, and he's got time to do the overtake.
And importantly for Croft and Woodhatch in his championship fight, remember when it comes to some of his poorer results, 1st and 7th back in the opening round of the season. Well, he had a victory earlier on this evening. He's running 6th, so he's running better than his 3rd worst result of the season, which is great because it means that he's adding some more solid points to the list. There is Timo Milikangas with a broken suspension going for these slip and slides all over the place, and this is the fight for 2nd place. I don't get the feeling they are going to have a battle for the race victory. I think with a couple of laps left to go, Dylan McClements should be safe of the field. There will be 3 laps left to go at the line as the battle for the podium begins.
Sanders, huge move over the grass, down the inside. This could be 2nd place. He was thinking maybe his day was over when he was in the air, coming out of turn 2 in the first race. Now he's looking at a 2nd place finish. In 1 lap, he's gone from 4th to 2nd, but it's not over yet. Bramley trying to defend by attacking down the inside in towards the first corner of Duffer's Dip. Who's going to be braver? Is it the inside? Is it the outside? Sanders keeps his foot in there, but in the end, it has to be 3rd place for now. And Sherwood is thinking, I thought I was going to be 2nd place here. Now I'm in 4th.
Yeah, right, exactly. That 5 of the podium is going to swap a few more times in the final couple of laps. It was a big send from Sam Sanders, and I don't get the feeling it's the last time he's going to try that one. Maybe this round, but certainly not this season. He'll give it a go wherever it is possible. Sam Sanders is, of course, driver who's raced with us before last season. Jaden Sherwood is staring at that podium fight, backing off from it a little bit. We're about ready to head on to the penultimate lap of this race as Sanders and Bramley continue their fight. Bit of a moment there for Sanders, who's dropped out wide. Jaden Sherwood with a look to the inside. He's going to pick up a bit of slipstream from Hayden Bramley, who's just trying to give out the slipstream to make them side by side. Beautifully read by Sherwood, thinks, I don't want any part of that. Let me back out and let you two fight for a bit.
Yeah, that was brave and smart driving to just be like, no, not going to use this opportunity. There will be another one, and hopefully it will be better. McClements is gone for the lead now, though. All this batting, they've lost another half a second over the last couple of laps. So that one is done, assuming no positions or no mistakes, I should say, are being made. We're going to have another lap to go in this race. Bramley is going to lead this time around, but he needs to lead the all-important one out that final corner.
Picking up that slipstream, a double slipstream for Jaden Sherwood. The final lap waits for everyone as they come through the final corner. Dylan McClements is leading, looking for his 2nd victory of 2025. Jaden Sherwood running out wide, heading into the final corner as they drag their way up towards the line. The slipstream games begin, dragging it all over the circuit, left to right. Hayden Bramley trying to test those drivers around. Sam Sanders looks to the outside of the opening corner. The defense goes a little bit deep there for Hayden Bramley. The doors may be slightly ajar.
Yeah, this is a difficult one because Sanders is being so aggressive on Bramley. He doesn't know where the door is going to open up. And oh, huge clobber off the curb, but he's kept it in a straight line. One final prop opportunity. Sanders thinking about ascend. Can Bramley keep it stuck here?
Through onto the railway straight for the final time. Dylan McClements leading by 2.2 seconds, but that fight for 2nd is nowhere near done. Jaden Sherwood picking up the slipstream of those ahead, looks to the outside, the defensive line from Hayden Bramley, trying to steal away the podium though is Jaden Sherwood. Is he going to be able to do it? A little bit deep there at the final corner. Dylan McClements is going to win for the 2nd time in 2025, and he'll be joined on the podium by Hayden Bramley and by Sam Sanders. Jaden Sherwood not able to do it, but McClements a perfect drive up to victory, ending the streak of Croft and Woodhatch.
Yeah, that was a lovely race once again, just showing you how you can battle so much around here, and this is going to be a nice one for the championship as well. Great to see Dylan getting a second race victory of the season, slowly becoming a dark horse for one of the top positions. And Sherwood, he would be a bit disappointed in that, not gaining as many points on Woodhatch as he would have wanted, but overall just showing you how Knockhill can be so good.
McLaren's then with a third podium of the season as well, so a great drive to it. Crofton Woodhatch was able to pick up the fastest lap of the race and has run to 6th position, which I'm sure he'll be slightly disappointed with, but still, it's solid points. McLaren's will take the victory with Bramley, Sanders, Sherwood and Hopper the top 5. Then, of course, it's Woodhatch, Loudon, then Summers, Smith and Wan Shi Lin rounding out the top 10 positions. Matt Kendall down 11th, big disappointment for him. Isaac Gade outside of the top 10. Paige Dovenbow in 13th position with Rebecca Morrell, despite having some great speed this evening, unfortunately just 14th. Mark Vinter, and then, of course, Mario Ras, the final driver. Retirement for the race. Once again, there's, of course, Timu Milikangas, a double retirement north of the border. Let's catch up with our race winner, Dylan McClements. Big congratulations. A superb drive to your second victory of the season. What do you make of that one? 7th and 1st. Great driving here at Knockhill.
Yeah, I think I got quite unlucky in the first race. I made a mistake, it was costly, but I feel like I did the best to get back up to 7th and get the reverse grid, and then after a good battle, I got in the lead and just held it from there.
Tricky circuit to navigate, especially on the opening lap. Did you obviously we saw that a little bit in race number 1? Did you learn from that, and was that what aided you to basically take the lead there on the opening lap in race number 2?
Yeah, I know I did wrong, and I learned from it the first couple laps there, and it made me know what was coming for the second race, and took the lead from there. And yes, good race win.
Obviously, just 2 rounds left to go. Zandvoort, Brands Hatch GP, 2 very differing circuits, especially compared to this circuit here at Knockhill. What are you expecting from them? Are we finding some more form? Are we expecting some more podiums from you? Because you've definitely got the speed for it.
Yeah, I feel like I have the speed. Haven't done Zandvoort in the Fords now, and I have a test on Monday and Tuesday, so I don't know how well I'll go around there, but I feel like I might have a good chance around Brands. I know it well, and I done the iRacing Festival on it a couple weeks ago, so hopefully all goes well in both. I'm waiting for podiums and maybe wins.
Hopefully have some better luck in the Brands Hatch GP round here than you did in the Formula 4 Festival. I remember that. I had a bit of an unfortunate taking out in that one. A bit of chaotic racing as you get in the Formula Fords. Dylan, congratulations. Excellent drive. And again, maybe we'll see you in the next couple.
Right, thanks a lot.
There we go. Dylan McClements onto the podium once more and on to another victory this season. Next one, Hayden Bramley. Let's chat to Hayden, of course. Superb drive this evening, starting from the rear end of the field in race number 1. Worked your way up to a pretty solid result in 6th spot, which is a great drive. That put you in a great position to challenge for a podium. Not quite the victory, bit of a gap there up to McClements, but a great drive to 2nd regardless. I think from the back of the field, that's a pretty successful evening, is it not?
Yeah, when I saw the quali ban, I was thinking like, God, there could not be a worse track for me to get this. But with the lap 1, like chaos and just generally being able to get through people, because a lot of people haven't fully grasped like the chicane and stuff, so you can get pretty good runs on people. Surprisingly, it wasn't actually the hardest to climb back up.
Just picking up from other people's mistakes as well, I'm sure. It's one of those really mistake-prone circuits, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had my fair share. I think I'm shocked that in race 1 I didn't get a slowdown, because I thought I got one like 5 times, and so obviously in this race I bottled the gap to Dylan like 4 or 5 times as well, and I pulled like 2 or 3 tenths of them, and I'd go off, then do it again and go off. So yeah, definitely a hard track to stay consistent on.
Almost feels a little bit like Crofton Woodhatch might be a touch out of reach on the championship unless he makes some mistakes in the final couple of rounds. Not sure if that's how you're also seeing it. Maybe there is a chance for you, but definitely the fight for 2nd. Very tight in and amongst yourself, Jaden, Matt, and Sam, of course, is all very tight. I'm sure Dylan's going to be closing up as well some of the pace. Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah, I mean, after Ulton, I didn't get any points at Ulton, so seeing, I think he has a 50-point gap to me or something. It was that point I realised, like, yeah, there's not much, and then just try and fight for the P2, because P2 is still good. It's my first ever season in any sort of esports, so I can't be too miffed if I'm fighting for one of the top spots in any sense.
Yeah, certainly not embarrassing yourself this season. You put on a great drive and a great drive onto the podium here this evening as well. Hayden, congratulations. And again, 2 more weeks left to go in the season. I get the feeling we're going to have a couple more interviews.
Yeah, thank you. See you soon.
Hayden Bramley onto the podium once more. Also onto the podium, someone who I wasn't sure if we were going to see on the podium this evening after whatever happened on the opening lap of race number 1. It's Sam Sanders is in the booth with us. I mean, what was your mentality after that opening calamitous moment? It was all chaos at the opening corner of race 1, and here you are on the podium.
Yeah, not really how I saw the evening going. It was good fun, but yeah, race 1 was a bit of a disaster. Just got caught out by the guys going through wide, and everyone kind of checked up a bit more than I was expecting, and then yeah, got knocked into the air on the way through the corner. So yeah, a bit of a disaster, and had damage after that, so that kind of limited the run back through the field. So starting 11th, I just missed the reverse grid on 9, and so I was like, oh, this is great. Just tried to remain patient, see if I could get any runs on anyone, and yeah, we're really happy to end up on the podium. I don't think I was expecting that at the start.
What's it kind of like when you've missed out on the reverse grid? Because it's kind of that's almost like the worst thing to do, because you've got all the fast drivers who are now directly ahead of you. You've not made any progress on them. You've got them to work through, and then all the slow. Like, what is that like? What's that mentality like on the grid?
In some ways, it's okay, because you can kind of be a bit of an imposter. You've got all of the like 3 fast guys, or however many fast guys ahead of you, who've just like battled for the win of the last one. So I was okay, because I got into 10th at the start, and then that meant I was like right behind Crofton, and then I was just I had a little bit of breathing room, so I could kind of try and set up some nice runs on people as they were doing the hard work for me. Just try and set some runs up off the back of that, and I got a bit lucky a couple of times with getting 1 or 2 at a time. So yeah, it was just kind of trying to keep my head in it, and it's not over till the end. So yeah, it was tough, but good fun.
Well, Sam, best of luck over the next couple of weeks. Again, I'm sure, like with all of our other podium sitters, we'll be talking to you quite a bit over that. And good luck with the run to second, maybe even the title. Who knows? Who knows what's up for grabs?
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Sam, great drive onto the podium there again, and a great chat to our podiums, of course. Cam, Formula Fords are all done. It is time to get ourselves ready. The British Formula 4 Esports Championship is coming up as it goes racing north of the border. Just 6 races left to go to crown our champion. We'll be right back after this. Back then, strapped in and ready to go racing once again here, north of the border. Knockhill, our host for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. We are ready to go. Ready to go racing once again. Ready to go for what I'm sure will be one of the most dramatic rounds of this championship. It almost always brings some drama up here. And this round will have no difference on that. Just 4 points separates the top 2 in the championship. A big gap back to Matt Caruana. We'll talk about that in a moment when we see the standings. Before that, let's talk you through the evening. In a few moments' time, we'll be going into qualifying, a lone qualifying session. Again, the limited laps, 10 minutes they'll be able to take to the circuit before we get to that first race. 20 minutes in that before we prepare ourselves for the reverse grid between P5 and 15. And once again, 20 minutes goes back onto the board and we'll be racing once again. It is such a frantic and difficult thing to fight for this title, but this is what they are fighting for. On the team's championship, we have the £5,000 prize pool, 2.5k for our winning team, 1.5 for second, and of course that grand for the third place team. There is also our base performance simulator prizes. Of course, the top 3 teams will receive 1 full day at the single-seater simulator, which they use at base performance simulators. A lot of, again, real-world drivers use that simulator at Banbury. It's a fantastic facility. They also will receive the 2026 Werritours British Formula 4 Championship hospitality for the winning team. They get 4 tickets a round of their choice next season. And then, of course, the new one for this season, the Pole Position Award presented by Base Performance Simulator. The driver with the most pole positions in the season will win a BPS FW1 steering wheel and the BPS DDU as well. So that will be something to talk about. By the way, the leader on that at the moment is Henry Moore on 2 pole positions. He is also the leader of our championship, 336. Like I said, 4 clear of his teammate Remy Gilbert. They are running away with things on the team side of things. Matt Caruana dropping back a touch after a couple of penalties. 3rd position in the title race for him. Danny Moreno in 4th with Leo Brown. Iggy Smith up there in the top 10. Goga Bowdy, Agustin Torlashi, Ryan McCallum and Pablo Espes, the top 10 in the title race. On the team side of things, 668 points. That is for Team Bennick. They are nearly 300 points clear of TC Esports. Effectively, the team's champions almost crowned. They've got a hand on it, but that fight for second is tight. TC Esports to high-mo setups by EMM. Drive Lounge Racing not too far behind. Alpine as well in that tight fight for the top 5 against Aston Martin, Aramco F1 Esports team, and the Scuderia Ferrari HB Esports team. All of our F1 affiliated teams all doing battle there for the top 5. Aztec, Williams, and of course BS Competition not a million miles off either. It is a tricky season for them to fight for these prizes, Cam, and again, to fight in the title race like this, it is immensely difficult. You can see Henry Moore there, our championship leader. What do you think is going through his mind heading into this very important qualifying session? I think this is where things almost started falling apart last season.
Yes, it was actually. It was the final 3 rounds from Knockhill onwards where he really struggled. In 2024, Graham Carroll coming out on top that time around, but Carroll not full-time member of the grid this year, so he just has his teammate Remy Gilbert. Matt Caruana is obviously in 3rd place, but I believe he told us last time he's missing that final round of the season. So, yes. And also he's 45 points behind. So to be honest, it's Team Bennick fighting between themselves as Moreno is just way too far behind realistically. So now we have to see. There's been some races where Gilbert and Moore maybe haven't fought on track as much as they would because they were trying to conserve their championship points and all that. Now, crunch time, 3 rounds to go. Surely they're going to start having a big battle.
I can't remember. I get the feeling that Henry Moore might have had a grid penalty around here. Qualified man. He started 20th. I remember that. Finished in 12th position in the first race. Did win the second race, but this was kind of the start of the unravelling ever so slightly. Graham Carroll was able to finish on the podium in both races last season, which is what assisted him with that. Let's take a look around a very speedy lap then with our championship leader into the opening corner at Duffer's Dip. Flicks it back over to the left-hand side before that short braking zone of the right-hander of McIntyre. Prepare yourself for the chicane as they go through Butchers. Flick it over the left-hand side and big over the right for Henry Moore. Superb driving. Again, a race winner around here. He knows how to get it done. Into the Clark curve before back out onto the railway straight. Such perfect track limit excursions being taken here from Henry Moore. One final braking zone to deal with, and then the lap's over in a flash. Down into Taylor's they go. Late apex they'll need, and Henry Moore picks that one up beautifully, uses all of the track. I'm not gonna lie, that looked great. Henry Moore looks devastated about it. Across the line he goes with a 46.732, 500ths of a second ahead of Agustin Torlashi.
Well, it definitely wasn't perfect. There was a few little wiggles here and there, so he could definitely go faster than that. You just have to be so perfect. I mean, the compliance of the car in the chicane was absolutely unreal. The setup that they've got going there is amazing, and let's see if there is an improvement, because to be honest, he's still the fastest driver that's set the lap so far. Here's Danny Moreno, 4th place in the standings. TC Esports having a great run, 2nd place in the Constructors, and they've got a big fight with high-mo setups, which is Caruana and Chadwick, so a good result would be very nice for him indeed. Let's see what he can do.
The reason we put a little bit more weight and emphasis on this round is because it does tend to be one of those drivers which does decide things. It does move people around. It does shake up the title race. 2023, we had 3 drivers in the title race. It was McEwen, it was Gordy Much, it was Pete Berryman. It was this round where Pete Berryman faltered a little bit. Meanwhile, Gordy Much took a double victory. Luke McEwen joined him on the podium in both races, and they were able to clear their way ahead of Pete Berryman and make it a 2-horse horse race in the title run. Of course, last season we spoke about Henry Moore. This season, look, those two drivers that are battling for the title are running first and second at the moment in this section. It is Remy Gilbert at the moment who is in position to take your BPS pole position, which would be great for him because I think it would move him to a joint leader in that BPS pole award.
Yeah, that'll be a fantastic battle because there's only going to be 2 more opportunities after this one to get that pole award. So amazing. Let's see how that one works out. So Gilbert's gone to the front by 17 thousandths of a second. So is Henry Moore really disappointed by 17 thousandths of a second? That is amazing to see how close his championship is. And here is McAuliffe coming up towards the line, 11th place. You expect him to be slightly higher, but it's so close. Will Murdoch jumping up into 8th position as well as Henry Moore continues on. 6 minutes to go, but once again, similar to 1600s, will be sat there for a couple of minutes once all the laps are done, being such a short circuit.
Yeah, it's such a fast qualifying session around here. I'm not going to lie, I like the fact there's a limit on laps as Danny Moreno goes up to 12th, Matt Caruana up to 7th. I've always said circuits like this, when you have an unlimited amount of laps, big slide through the final corner there for Henry Moore, and he's devastated about that. I think that's going to cost him all of that time up towards the line. 46.776. It is not going to be an improvement for Moore. He's not particularly happy about it, but it's these circuits where it requires, if you're going to get on pole position, it basically needs a perfect lap.
That is amazing. Look how close we are. A 10th of a second for the top 7 drivers. Caruana just outside of that. Gogo Baldi jumping up into 8th position. What a track this is. We still got 5 minutes to go in the session, but all the drivers are getting their laps in. Caruana doesn't look too pleased with that one. After leading the championship for a couple of rounds, he had a bad one last time out with a big DNF. Second race at Silverstone. That drops him down to 3rd position. And to be honest, he's not going to be winning the championship this year if he's missing a whole round as well. Here's Chadders. He's only a tenth and a half off, but he's down in P12.
And he had a great showing in the VCO ERL, did he not? Obviously a few days ago. I wasn't commentating on that one. I was watching by the sidelines. But again, he showed himself some good speed. He's a well-versed iRacing driver. Up to 11th position he goes. We don't have too many drivers still out there on the circuit. Remy Gilbert's returned, Henry Moore's returned, Iggy Smith has returned, Augustin Tolashi, College Up, Matt Caruana, Brown, Chadwick, Kirkapau, Espes, Jasir. The only ones really out on the circuit, you've got Conor Muir up there in 4th position. We've got Gerga Baldi there in 8th. We've got Baldi's teammate here, Jonathan Riley. We've got Hans Jakob Molat, who is still out on the circuit. Noah Boldson goes up into 24th. I think Olivia Hayward and Mia Rose have left it late on. Might as well get some broadcast time as well for them and the team. Also do wonder who on this grid also has an exclusion for qualifying. I know it's Alexander Strabel and Charles Genet do, and I'm pretty sure Shomi Shintani does as well.
Yeah, there's a list. So you got Deslandis, Glerum, Shintani, Hull, Genet, and Strabel. And Genet also has a back of the grid for race 2 as well. So he's got a difficult night ahead of him.
Yeah, indeed. Got the heart rate as well there on Goga Baldi, 103. That's literally what I have when I'm walking around. So,
oh, that's heart rate.
I'm healthy.
FPS for a minute.
He's feeding us a 103 frame rate car. It's very bizarre. It's very specific as well. No, the weird line that would be next to it. You know, the heart rate, that kind of like jagged line. Yeah, that'll probably give it away. There's a heart rate monitor. Thanks, Cam.
Because earlier it was like 80 something. I thought, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. And then it's jumping up. That's amazing. I was completely wrong with that one. Mia Rose working. There's definitely not a competitive lap, being 4.5 seconds off. Hopefully this one is a little bit closer.
Plenty more time, I'm sure, for the Rex Red Bull Racing driver there through the final corner, a little wide of the apex. Down at the final turn, up towards the line. Not sure how many laps Rose has got left in this session across the line. 51.2. Again, still a fair way off of the pole, but again, didn't look like there was the full push heading into that final corner. I know there's plenty more time out there for Rose. Good opening sector here, it seems, and up towards chicane. How committed?
Oh, a little bit too much curb there. Sliding wide off up the Brabham Straight and just definitely losing some time. And you could see the car just not quite as planted through that point of the track. But, I mean, to be honest, we're such a close qualifying time. There's 7 tenths covering all of the drivers so far. Can Mia Rose do anything to get inside that as come out the final corner?
Much better lap from Rose there. It'll be a 47, I believe, across the line. 47.227. So a solid improvement across the line. Noah Osbaldeston also doing a lap. 14th at the moment in the session. Mia Rose 25th, by the way. Session coming to a close for Osbaldeston. I think Mia Rose still has one more left to do in this session. Wonder with a minute 50 if maybe a request for Hugo Lewis. I feel bad making these requests, throwing them around to the broadcast. Unless it's Arjuna, at which point I'll make whatever requests I want. I wonder if we can have an onboard lap with Remy Gilbert, if we can see his pole lap. That'd be pretty fancy. It's the only round we can actually do it.
Yeah, Hugo's spinning the wheel there, trying to sync that one up as we get towards the end. I mean, it's such a fast lap around here. 46 seconds. It goes away to flash. We've got 20-minute races. We're going to get a lot. Anyway,
here you go, Cam.
If we can have a bit of a run. Okay, let's have a look here at good old Knockhill. Remy Gilbert on the pole position, coming down in towards Duffer's Dip, is going to absolutely nail the racing line. Perfect run over the curbs there so far. Misses that one just a little bit, but it doesn't matter because it's really wide on the exit. This is the line that I want to see through the chicane. He does actually bump that, but the car just stays so nice. The dampers are set up perfectly for this lap through Clark Curve, hitting that apex nicely. Just the tiniest little, maybe 5 degrees of correction. The car is absolutely planted here and down in towards the final corner. And already such a fast lap over in a flash, getting a late apex, just nudging that one and balanced in the rear end. It is on a knife edge, but he keeps it straight and keeps that momentum. And we saw with Moore, he just had a little bit more of a slide, and that's all it is for a 17 or even thousandths of a second difference.
Great lap. It really is tidy there from Remy Gilbert, who sits 4 points off the title lead, and qualifying like that. Second pole position, second BPS pole position, of course, of the season. So when it comes to that BPS pole award, now sits joint on top along with Henry Moore. Not a clue what they do when it comes to if they both have it. Maybe they'll split the prize. One will get the DDU, one will get the wheel. Who knows? Qualifying session comes to a close. It is Remy Gilbert definitely on that pole, and I'll prepare myself for a deep breath to try and get through 32 cars. Good luck to me.
Yeah, certainly a lot of cars for a tough track around here, but it's going to be a lot of fun. 2 races to go, and here's how we line up for the first.
Remy Gilbert on pole position for the second time this season. Danny Moreno alongside in that front row for TC Esports. There's Henry Moore, who was disappointed with his qualifying session. Alongside him is the Aston Martin Aramco Esports team driver of Connor Muir, just ahead of Iggy Smith. Great qualifying from them. Also TC Esports inside the top 6 with Augusta Tolashi. Behind that, it's Jupp, then Baldi. Caruana in 9th position with Leo Brown, Will Chadwick, and Rope Kirkapau will finish in that qualifying session in 12th position. Still within 0.2 of a second is Jonathan Riley, then Noah Osbaldeston, and finally outside of it is Pablo Espes and Beckham Jasira Williams there on row number 8. Will Murdoch and Ryan McAuliffe from 18th position on the grid. Lucas Herman for BS Competition alongside the altitude driver of Molat, then Stone, Mr. Boxman in 23rd with Archie Heron in 22nd, Harding and Deanna Perez in 24th place. We saw Rose's lap 25th in the session for them, and of course Corey Lane in 26th position, Nathan Tay and Izzy Matthews in 28th. No lap time set courtesy of qualifying exclusions for Shomu Shintani, Charles Genet, also Olivia Hayward and Alexander Strabel starting from the rear end of the field. They are in position. They are about ready to go. We've still got a little bit of time to breathe. It's the second one. I'm just practicing for that second one. We're only getting a minute to get through them. Remy Gilbert, though, in a great position. But it is a tricky start, isn't it, Cam? Such that uphill, tricky run. It's no grid spot. It's flat.
Certainly. It's going to be a tough one. Let's see who comes out on top. Bennett at the front.
Of course, Team Bennett with Remy Gilbert, Danny Moreno alongside Henry Moore, and of course Connor Muir for the Aston Martin Aramco. And it is a stall, unfortunately, on the grid for Iggy Smith, who didn't go anywhere for the Aston Martin Aramco Esports team. A perfect launch for Remy Gilbert, though, who will lead us through and lead the snake through the opening complex of corners. It's Gilbert, Moreno, Moore, Muir, then Torlashi, Jupp, Baldi, Caruana, Brown and Chadwick, who moves his way inside the top 10.
Oh, we've already got cars off into the gravel. That's a bit of a bad run from Moreno. And now Henry Moore's going to be thinking about it. Round the outside for second place. That could be a big move. Oh, there's contact in the background. One of the Red Bull cars has been sent spinning. I think that's Perez who has gone off and down in towards the hairpin. Moore's got second place, but it's now Connor Muir who's trying to go round the outside for third. But Moreno just holds on.
Didn't realise that Moore and Moore from the Formula Fords in 2023 was going to be the second hardest Moore pairing that I've had to commentate on, because Moore and Muir, that's tough to drop back to back. But either way, Moreno's in the middle of them at the moment and sits in that third position as they work their way through Duffer's Dip in the opening corner of the circuit. This is looking back to the Ferrari driver there of Gergo Bowdy. Matt Caruana, the high-most setups by EMM, trying to look to the outside there as they work their way through McIntyre. Leo Brown for Drive Lounge also sat there knocking at the door and obviously trying to work his way up. Augustin Torlashi for TC Esports, though, dropping down the field.
And it wasn't a big off, but look how many places he lost. That is ridiculous. 5-6 cars going through. We're side by side, almost 3 wide, down in towards the final hairpin. As we've seen Baldy try to hold on. He's got that inside line, but unfortunately, Leo Brown on the outside is going to get squeezed out, and Caruana comes through. We've got Chadwick, Caruana's teammate, not too far behind, trying to cover from the difficult qualifying. We're side by side, actually, as we come down towards Duffer's Dip. Brown is on the outside. Chadwick pushing his teammate. He's got to back out of that one to not go side by side in towards the first corner. But these guys, such high-paced action here at Knockhill.
Goodness me, it is so incredibly tight, and as you quite rightly said, it is brutal out there with how much one mistake can cost you, just courtesy of how tight it is. Got a lot of cars into the pit lane. We've got Mia Rose, Jonathan Riley, Beckham Jasir, Will Murdoch, Deanna Perez and Iggy Smith. So Smith into the pit lane. Big shame after qualifying so well. Not 100% sure as to what happened there, as Will Chadwick looking down the inside of Leo Brown. Full send into the final corner at Taylor's. Kicks up a bit of oversteer as well on the exit of that corner, trying to slam that throttle down. Meanwhile, Augustin Torlashi trying to defend from Ryan McAuliffe on the start-finish straight.
Yes, Balderson's already got through. Now it's McAuliffe. This could be another 2 places lost for Torlashi after his off a couple of laps ago, and he's now lost those 2 just because of racing as well. So that is not good for TC Esports. With Moreno up in 3rd place, their fight for second in the championship in the constructors. They need these points, and that unfortunately is a lot being lost so far by the number 30. And he's got one of the Williams cars all up behind him as well in 14th place. That's Espez, who now has the run. Oh, we're off into the road up ahead. This is what we saw earlier with Perez. Can't quite see exactly what happened on the 3M Esports, and then Perez being hit, I think, by a teammate as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mia Rose was definitely in the middle of all of that. Let's see it from up above. It was one of the altitude cars that was there, a bit of air between them, and that was Mia Rose straight into the side as well. Unfortunately, just nowhere for Rose to go, straight into the side of Perez. This is what happened to Jonathan Riley, bit of a spin and contact with one of the Williams. Just very messy. That would have been Beckham Jasir in the middle of all of that. Very messy.
Yes, wow, when the wheels get locked together, they just couldn't do anything to unlock themselves. I mean, that's open wheel racing, to be honest. Torlashi goes off. Espez is going to get the run up the inside in towards Clock, and there's a 3rd position loss. Torlashi is going backwards.
Yeah, definitely struggling. Lucas Herman is now sat behind for BS competition, and it might not be behind for too much longer, as Augustin Torlashi trying to get straight back through on Pablo Espez. Herman with a bit of a look to the inside of Espez as well. They work through the final corner. You can see the queue of cars behind, 2 altitudes as well, knocking maybe at the door to find their way through, but can't quite do it. 0.6 of a second separates the race lead and those 2 Bennett cars. So the top 2 in the championship may well be doing battle here north of the border in a few moments' time. 15 minutes and 40 seconds left to go on the clock. Cameron, Roger, could you believe it? We've only seen 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this race.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Let's see how we get going with this race. Hopefully it'll come down just the tiniest bit, because these guys are going a little bit too crazy. Want some nice battles here, and we saw in the 1600 you can go back to back, having these sort of little battles where each lap you reverse the positions. No sends this time around into the hairpin, at least for Herman, as the 86 has a bit of a look, because that's a terrible run up ahead, but somehow managed to get the run there for Pablo Espez and kept a decent one. So everyone has a really loose rear end around here, really getting the rear rotated and having to do all of the control through the steering wheel. That was a bad run from Espez though, through Duffer's Dip. Herman closes right in.
Not a good track for a loose rear end, let me tell you. It can be very difficult around here for it, as Muir and Moreno switch positions. Connor Muir getting through into 3rd. Moreno's had a poor run through the chicane, and the Aston Martin Aramco driver has got through and then dropped back behind, and now has Connor Jupp as well to try and work his way through in the Alpine. To the outside, he's going to go looking for the up and under. Jupp might just be able to do it.
And this is much better from Alpine Esports. Got Kirkpower in the top 10 as well. Let's see what Jump can do down the inside. The battle of the Connors. Who is it going to be? In towards Duffer's Dip. We've got Aston Martin on the outside. Alpine, small contact between them. And Jump should have this one into down in towards McIntyre's, but not enough actually. Somehow Jump holds on. On the outside, we've got Gogo Baldi. He's on the gravel. He's trying to get up the inside into the chicane. Baldi's going to keep his nose in there. So somehow Jump is going to have to hold on to this one, but he doesn't though, because Caruana is going to come through along with the Ferrari.
How did Muir not get a slowdown, though? That's what I want to know. I'm not sure he doesn't have a slowdown. He skipped over the inside there at the second corner, courtesy of the bit of contact. And somehow he's not dropping back into Baldi, Caruana, Brown, or Jupp again. A little bit of awkward contact. I would actually lean that one a little bit more towards Muir. I think he turned over a little bit too much. I know there'll be a load of people that will stay, this overlap, that overlap, and they're all the people that think Oscar Piastri was to blame for the weekend stuff. I think they're completely wrong. So we'll not talk about that too much. Chadwick to the outside of Jupp, and once again, so tight between us. There's a car there. Give it a car width. Why not? Let's have some racing.
Oh, this is beautiful. We calmed down for maybe a lap and a half, and now it's going crazy again. I absolutely love this track here in British F4 Esports. Let's see how this one ends. We've got Caruana, we've got Baldi following in behind as we work our way onto the back straight. Big slide there as Baldi's going to have the run. He's going to look to the inside, working their way down towards the hairpin. All this is doing is letting Moreno get away for third place. Huge defensive line to the inside. That's going to open up the door for Brown to have a thing to get up the inside, and he might be able to do that one by one. Bit of a hip check on the outside as well.
Oh, God, it's brutal in this fight. Absolutely brutal. Brown and Baldi going side by side. Chadwick directly behind, trying to score some good points for Hymo Setups by EMM. Into the rear end, though, and he's going to go for a spin. A little bit too hot there into the opening corner. Touching the back of Ryan McAuliffe. And Will Chadwick down to 15th position. He's going to rejoin just inside the top 20 ahead. One of the Mentor driven by us cars. But what a chaotic moment, and a costly mistake there from Chadwick, just touching the rain light of Ryan McAuliffe's car.
And letting TC Esports off a bit in the constructors as well. They were looking to gain some points with Torlashi going back down the order, but now it's the other way around. And let's see what Torlashi can do as he's working his way back up. One by one, he's getting there. He's outside the top 10. He's now up into 8th place. Balderson in the background is getting Kirkpower as well, dropping the Alpine driver out. Oh, we've got people coming down the pit road. Is that because of all the off tracks and all the contacts we've seen? Is McAuliffe and Kirkpower must have got black flagged?
Oh, that's mental if they've got black flag. We're not even halfway through this race, Cam. I mean, wow, they're double downing on the. Basically, again, it's the same as if you've ever done an iRacing race. You get a certain amount of instant points for track limits and for car contacts. And once you breach that, you have to take a little trip down to the pit lane. Quite a short pit lane around here. But actually, one of the things around here, the average speed is quite high. Sorry, I remember I said it was Ryan McAuliffe. It obviously was Gogo Baldi, the spin. That was when Ryan McAuliffe came through. And of course, the car we were looking at in the middle of all of that was Chadwick, and was able to avoid it. To be fair, did exactly the right thing, slammed onto the brake pedal, held the brakes. It means the car's sliding in a consistent trajectory, makes things a little bit easier for everyone to avoid. So in that sense, very solid from Chadwick, and the exact example is Hans-Jakob Moller also into the pit lane. God, they're busy in the pit lane in this race.
That's what I was just thinking. Another car, so altitude back down pit lane. And people who think it's probably been a very quiet race so far, Gilbert and Moore for Team Bennett. They're leading the Constructors Championship. They're 1-2 in the Drivers, which is obviously why they're leading the Constructors. No one can get ahead of them. And it is a championship battle with 3 races to go. Oh, the 17, that's Espes has gone off. He was in a solid top 10 position at one point, but he's struggling, and that is going to be back to the pit lane.
Yeah. Again, this is one of the main things about this circuit. We know from our time here in sim racing, whether it is commentating here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, whether it is having driven this circuit a whole host of times, it is a brutal circuit. That was Espes into the barrier. It is a brutal circuit, and if there is a circuit we visit on this calendar that takes no prisoners, this is up there. Brands Hatch is up there, but this is definitely number 1 on the list.
Wow. That was an insane synchronized spin, full airplane moment. I mean, that is what you like. And we come back to this battle for P3. In the meantime, though, Moreno on the inside for TC Sports. He's got the Aston Martin of Conor Muir on the outside, and they are battling for the final place on the podium. 6 seconds off the lead. Team Bennett have gone absolutely into the distance. No one's going to be catching them this race. Conor Muir to the outside, not enough, as Moreno will have that one covered. They need to be careful, though, because Caruana, Brown, and and Baldy, 3 cars in behind. This is basically a 5-car battle for the podium.
It's tight out there. It is brutal out there. And the only place that it's not tight, there we go. It was Conor Muir. The answer to the question from earlier as to whose wall it was that Cam Roger was a fan of, it was Conor Muir. There we go.
If there's one place I want my Christmas dinner, it's that lounge right there.
You're not invited, though. I can guarantee that. As Muir looks to the inside on Moreno. Straight down the inside at the final corner. Bit of a brush between them into the pit lane. Comes one of the prismatic cars, of course, and unfortunately another one to take a venture and a trip down into pit lane this afternoon. Don't think it's going to be the last one in this race, though. Then we're going to see a few more. Danny Moreno back up in the 3rd position. Then it's Muir, then Caruana, then Brown, but it's a big look from Caruana, who's having a fantastic drive up the field.
What a circuit this is. Muir thought he was in 3rd place at one point. Half a lap ago, he's now in 6th, and he's got a body all over the back of him. What a track. It is so difficult out there. Every mistake is punished, and it's easy to make a mistake. So it's double whammy around here. It's not a a modern flat circuit, all this tarmac runoff, etc. It is weird, and let's see a replay of this one. This is going to be a huge send down the inside. I mean, there's no way near enough room, but somehow Conor Muir saw that one coming, and they ended up not having 2 drivers off in the grass.
Huge send in a braking zone that is incredibly short as well. That braking zone is really tiny. So to get that one sent, brave stuff, great driving. Conor Muir, of course, the only driver at the moment in this race for the Aston Martin Aramco team, courtesy of Iggy Smith's odd issues on the race start. I still don't know what happened, but of course, unfortunately, retiring from the race start, couldn't quite get going in this race, unfortunately. And as Lewis Werrell says in chat, of course we saw in the Formula 4 600, good luck with racing, of course, this weekend. Busy man racing out there around the world of racing in some open wheelers. Try and get some good results. There was a spin then from Conor Muir, and I think that was maybe just a bit of rear locking.
So easy. I'm pretty sure there's a bit of a rub from Baldy, though, which is a bit of a problem, in terms of penalties coming that way. But we'll have to see a replay to see exactly how that was. 2 drivers fighting so hard, and they're rubbing up against each other very often. And unfortunately, there's just a little bit too much momentum from one car. These cars are very, very sensitive. We've seen how the rear end is dancing around, just the tiniest bit of pressure. And let's see. So we've got the Ferrari on the outside. That's Gogo Baldy. Oh no, he does lose on his own. You're right, I thought there was contact. No, he's on his own. Just a difficult point, trying to judge the rear brakes to perfection, but not that time around.
I am the arbiter of truth in this championship, Cameron Roger.
Sometimes.
Don't you worry about... Look, the spreadsheet works, and this one doesn't crash my computer, so at least there's that. That is the important bit. Let's see what happened then with Iggy Smith. This is on the race start, so you can see the revs building up there. You can see the lights flashing, and you'll see everyone move away. Inability to shift into 1st gear. That is a huge shame, and I do agree with what Lewis Werrell said. Completely robbed.
Yeah, that... I mean, what can you do? Nothing. You just got to sit there. Unfortunately, some cars we didn't quite actually catch that. I think it's one of the BS cars. A few more, actually. About 4 cars hitting the back there of Iggy Smith, and that is such a shame. From an amazing qualifying, we don't always see Smith that far up towards the front, but nailed the qualifying, just couldn't get away from the start.
Bit of front wing damage on the 33 of Leo Brown as well, so not great for Brown. It's just that front left being bent up somewhat, but of course it'll maybe slow down a little bit on the challenge. This is on board with Will Murdoch. I think you were right, it's a BS competition car, and you can see immediately left hand down. That front right is pushed in somewhat. Oh, wow. The front left was pushed in as well.
What a tough racetrack around here. I mean, there's just nowhere to go. It's all the 64 is off. That's one of the Aston Martin cars. That's Conor Muir, who's had further issues. Chadwick is off as well. This is not ideal for Aston Martin. Oh, there's a damage on the car. Or is he just sending it too much over the chicane? This is all shit. Oh, so it's Chadwick and Muir, who are side by side towards Duffer's Dip. I'm not sure what I think about that one. I mean, Chadwick definitely wasn't on the apex, but it's so difficult on the outside to judge that one. Such a fast corner, but I'd love to see that one again to have a proper opinion.
I'll let you sit in that one and stew in it. What I do know is we're having a fight for the race lead as they're starting to work their way through traffic. Fastest lap of the race for Henry Moore gives him the bonus point for it. of course, Remy Gilbert with the race lead. I think the switch to the championship would be an advantage of Remy Gilbert by a single point. Is that correct? I'm not actually sure. I can't remember what the points are. That's a Cameron Rogers thing. He's got the spreadsheet.
Yes, so it's 6 points difference first to second. There's 4 points between them, but then you add in the extra one, so it should be a single point.
Yeah, cool. I worked that out in my head. I didn't even need access to the spreadsheet that I painstakingly built for this championship. They've managed to work their way past the rocked Red Bull driver, of course, and now they run with some clean air up ahead for the next 4 minutes. Should be a few laps left to go at the line, and this is one of those ones where you'd sit there and be like, how hard are they going to fight? Now, I'm sure Seb Hawkins, who is team manager, said, look, boys, as it's been all season, you fight where you can. Like, if it's all well and good and you're going to keep it clean, you go ahead and fight. The thing is, they've basically got one hand on the team's championship. Now, obviously, they'll want to tick this result off as Lucas Herman's gone for a bit of a spin as well. They'll obviously want to tick this race result off as a 1-2, obviously, score some more points and basically get a hand and pretty much a couple of fingers on the other hand onto that team's championship trophy. But they are fighting for the title. They're not just fighting for a race victory here. They're not just fighting for a few points. They are fighting for the Drivers' Champ here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. It is Remy Gilbert, the most experienced driver in this championship, going against Henry Moore, who has, is it joint most wins now?
I believe it is, yes, which means this would take him solo at the top. And to preface this as well, remember, Remy Gilbert winning this race puts him top of the championship. He's currently second behind Moore. This is a big move, and there's only 2.5 minutes left, so Moore, I mean, he's also got a retirement to his name. Remember, there's no drop scores or anything like that, but he's got a retirement to his name. He's kind of behind, so if Gilbert wins this race, he'll be leading with 2 wins of the season, where Moore has 4. So it is quite an important one, this. He needs to be watching out. As Tolashi, I just realised, he's got back up into 6th place. So TC Sports recovering some points, and Caruana doing his best to get them for Heimo, with obviously Chadwick down in 18th.
Here we go. The camera of Gogo Bowdy stream times at 120 frames per second. Thanks, Cam. Obviously, the heart rate is 120. It is picking up. 130 we're approaching now as he's going on the attack. Bit of contact there as he's getting sandwiched between. And somehow he doesn't skyrocket and all that. Again, shows how calm these drivers keep, relatively speaking, as he's trying to slot the gap between Moreno and Tolashi, who go side by side a little bit, with Tolashi going back up into the top 5. It is still going to be TC Esports running in 5th and 6th position, but that was close to tears.
I'm sorry, but what on earth was that overtake from TC Esports? You're trying to get 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship, and you almost took both drivers out in a dodgy move, and also let Gogo Bowdy through. That was not the best way of doing that, for sure. It's worked out in the end, though, because Tolashi's got through to 5th, and Moreno can hold on. He's obviously struggling after a good qualifying. He's got a big defensive there to the inside. He's going to have a slow run onto the straight. Bowdy should have this one done by the time we get down to the hairpin. Oh, he's cut off as Moreno moves over perfectly. The heart rate is going up now just a little bit, almost getting towards 140. Big set coming down the inside from Bowdy. Saw that one. Moreno doesn't defend it. Bowdy gets it stopped, but on the exit can't get the power down.
Any idea what your highest heart rate has been in a race?
Oh,
any rough guess?
Like stupid, like 180 or something.
It is mad. That is cardiovascular exercise heart rate, and yes, it does get up to 180. Anyone who says it doesn't, you're lying. I've definitely. I remember one time I was in a race. I wasn't really focused on what was going on, and then suddenly I was very cognizant of where I was in the race, and it felt like I had a heart attack. It shoots up, and that's exactly what's happening for Gogo Bowdy right now, up to the 140s. Here we go. Final lap of the race between these two. I'm sure heart rate's been pretty calm between them. That might not be the case here on the final lap.
To the outside, Henry Moore's going to go the 77 outside of his teammate to hold the championship lead. He's going to just try and slow Gilbert down perfectly, cut back in line. Really, it's one opportunity down to the hairpin, isn't it? But how much does he want it? Don't risk losing these points, but he is going to lose the championship. Gilbert, with his 2nd race win of the season, it would be, will take the lead in the championship. Get the run through here and have a send on your teammate.
Not many opportunities left to go for Henry Moore. He'll be relinquishing the championship lead if he's going to sit in second position. He'll be going number 1 on the all-time winners list if he's able to find his way through into first place. Defensive line comes in from Remy Gilbert. He'll be able to work his way up towards the line to take back-to-back victories in this championship. It's Gilbert across the line to take over the championship lead in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. It is a 1-2 for Team Bennick, though. The fight for the podium behind between Leo Brown and Matt Caruana. Drag race up towards the checkered flag, and it is Caruana up to third place. Superb drive from Caruana, once again showing his overtaking prowess in this championship.
So the top 3 on the road in the end are going to be the top 3 in the championship. With how we're going to stand after this, that's not exactly what I was expecting after some carnage, but Caruana getting back up into third place. And what a race once again. We saw the likes of Tolashi going up and down. Even Connor Jupp was fighting up there at one point. And also some big results from the likes of Harding Genet from the back of the grid up into 11th place. McAuliffe, he was fighting all day. Some good entertainment out there.
Some excellent entertainment out there, and again, some brutal racing, some issues of drivers sliding out wide and having their fair share of problems. It's a tricky circuit, and it's going to get trickier because it's time to talk reverse grid. And again, numbers 5 through 15. It's unlucky for some. It is number 13. My goodness, that's brutal. Absolutely brutal. 13 cars to be reversed around here, which actually was the number Zach Sweeney asked for. Of course, we'll come back to that in a moment. We'll see who gets reversed. It's Remy Gilbert taking victory. Henry Moore in second, getting the bonus point as well for the fastest lap. And of course, there a 1-2 for Team Bennick. Matt Caruana in third position with Leo Brown in fourth. Danny Moreno, Augustin Tolashi, Gerger Baldi, Noah Esbolaston, and of course, Connor Jupp and Archie Heron rounding out the top 10. Behind that will be Charles Genet from the rear of the field up to 11th. Great drive. Kieran Harding up to 12th position, and Ryan McAuliffe 13th place, and the driver to be reversed. Ollie Stone, Mr. Boxman, will miss out on it. He's in 14th with Connor Muir, Cam's favourite Wolves in 15th. Lucas Herman, Will Chadwick, Shoma Shintani, Izzy Matthews and Nathan Tague will round out the top 20. Of course, still a fair few drivers in Aline, then Kirk Powell, Rose, Molat, then it's Murdoch, Hayward, Espes, Jasir, Riley and Perez. Of course, all those behind Aline, all retirements from this race, along with Iggy Smith, who wasn't able to get up to the race starts. And Alexander Strabel didn't even make the race start. He finished a lap down on someone who didn't even get going, which is mental when you think about it. Either way, let's start talking about our podium, start talking about our race winners, and let's start talking to Remy Gilbert, who, of course, great drive there into the onto the top step of the podium, and a great drive onto the top step of the championship at the moment. You are the championship leader. Great drive to it. We're able to keep Henry Moore at bay. Let's talk about that qualifying lap first. Such a brilliant drive around a difficult circuit. How does that feel when you hook together 46 of the most difficult seconds you can?
Yeah, I mean, it was pole, but I still wasn't very happy with it. Again, like, it was lap 1 where I did my best time, which shouldn't really be the case. But yeah, it was good enough for pole anyway, which I'm happy with. And then, yeah, the race, me and Henry sort of just pulled away from the rest and then just left it to the last couple of laps to fight out. And yeah, it was really good racing. Although I did get a little bit worried going into turn 1, but nah, it was good. It was good.
Let's roll our way back in time a little bit, use the old memory cells, and of course think back to last year around here, where in the first race, a certain Mr. Remy Gilbert was able to take victory in that opening race, finished 7th in the second race. I mean, repeating the first part of that, how much better can we go? I mean, look, that's a great drive to first. What were you expecting in race number 2?
Well, I need to see the reverse grid. Do you know what it is? Or
it's 13. It's not lucky. It's not looking good, mate. I don't want to break that one to you, all right?
Well, I mean, I guess the thing to do is just to try and stay out of trouble. But I mean, I've scored good points now, and you know, anything that comes, we just have to wait and see what happens. And yeah, just hopefully it goes well. Hopefully you avoid all the carnage.
Well, best of luck. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and I'm sure there will be plenty of that carnage.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries. Remy Gilbert victorious once again here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Into the booth as well comes Henry Moore. Once again, it is a 1-2 for Team Bennick, a team's championship which you seem to be running away from everyone else. So effectively, that one's not necessarily completely sorted, but it's pretty comfortable for you, which means it's just full focus here on the Drivers' Championship, right? And in that, it is a tight fight between you and your teammate. What's the vibe like between you two on that?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's gone really well for Team Benick as their sort of first big competition in sim racing. So, yeah, can't thank everyone enough behind the scenes. So, yeah, in terms of fighting with Remy, it's always going to be as respectful as it can be. You know, we're good. We're actually really good friends off track. So, yeah, I just didn't want to do anything crazy on that last couple laps. So, yeah, I think if I just sort my qualifying out, then I'll be sorted, because yes, not been ideal as of late. So a bit of a scruffy lap in that qualifying. I think the race would have played out a bit differently if I just sorted it out. So yeah, but really happy. Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about that, because we did see your webcam a couple of times in qualifying, and you didn't look particularly pleased, despite the laps. I mean, look, I'm fat and slow in sim racing these days. The laps looked decent to me. Obviously, we had a big slide out of the final corner in your last qualifying lap, which I can understand was quite frustrating. But I mean, what's it like in these qualifying sessions where they're separated by such tiny margins?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously really difficult. When you know you've got the pace, then sort of not knowing whether to fully push and give it everything or kind of back off to about 95%. I think I chose the wrong option there, because I completely messed up chicane twice just under driving it. So yeah, not the best. But yeah, obviously the championship's really close. So yeah, it's a credit to everyone that's doing it, really.
Well, you'll be starting from 12th place in the next race. It's a 13-car reverse grid, unlucky for some. It's a difficult track. You know how to work your way forward. You kind of proved that last year after qualifying 20, or yeah, starting from 20th position in the first race, working your way forward in that one. I mean, what are you using from that as experience to work your way through in this upcoming race, which is going to be a little bit chaotic, we all think?
I think it's just really knowing where to put the car and knowing when to and when not to go for moves. So yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. It'll be difficult, but yeah, let's have a look.
Perfect. Great to hear from you once again. And another podium from Henry Moore.
Cheers, guys.
On to Matt Caruana, our final driver here on the podium. Of course, another brilliant driver. Our top three in the championship, finishing first, second and third. Once again, of course, the disappointment of that retirement in the second race at Silverstone. And unfortunately, a penalty as well for race number one. Silverstone as well. Still got a good points haul. Yes, we know that you're missing from the season finale at Brands Hatch. But what is the goal for you over these over this final round? Because that was a brilliant drive from you up and onto the podium. You've clearly got that drive somewhere in you.
Yeah, it was just the quali. I was doing like consistent 5-6s in practice, and then I just got to the qualifying and bottled it, to be honest. But yeah, so that needs to be sorted out. But I think the aim for the rest of the season for me and Will is just beat TC in the team's championship. Score some good points for the rest of the races, not die in this one with 13 reverse grids, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
The question is, have you got a solid replacement coming in for that season finale? Is that already sorted? Have you already got a driver in the wings that maybe you're talking to, keeping in the loop and building that confidence of heading into that final round of the season?
Well, I think we've got Joseph Loke, so yeah, I'm confident.
Oh, he's all right, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, so we should be able to get some good points if he's driving, so yeah.
Well, you've moved your way forward in one race. You'll be attempting it once again. You'll be starting from 11th position, and of course, you've grabbed your way up to a podium in this race. Do you think potentially going a couple of steps better is actually possible? And then you'd go joint on the all-time winners list once again with Henry, Pete, and Luke.
It's definitely possible, but I'm not expecting it. There's going to be carnage everywhere, so we'll see what happens. And I just don't want to die again like I did at the start of last week, because it cost me a lot of points. So yeah.
Well, best of luck. We'll be chatting to you, I'm sure, at some point, either later on this evening or next round when we go racing at Zandvoort. See you in a bit, Matt.
See ya. Thank you.
There we go. Brilliant to hear, and a great podium to catch up on. Our top three in the championship, finishing first, second and third. Bit of a talking point here, because I said that Charles Genet obviously is the reverse grid pole man, and that is technically true. However, Cameron Roger, he has a back of the grid drop. So he finished 11th in that race. So he's going to be starting from third position in that race. He will not be starting there. So effectively, the reverse grid is technically 12. So I've been lying to all these poor drivers.
Well, I mean, it is, but it is because if you move him and then give the next person the reverse grid, I think that's a little bit unfair. So I do actually like how they've done it in this regard. But that's certainly a bit of an interesting one. I'm sure they weren't expecting that. But pretty cool anyway for Genet to get up so many positions. He's just got to do it all over again. And to be honest, even 12 is such a big number around here, Lewis. I'm a little bit skeptical as to how we're going to see this race unfold, because as ever, you do the reverse, the faster drivers go back, they push their way forward, everyone bunches up, and it's generally a little bit of carnage.
As you can see, practice still has a fair way left to go. Obviously very good just to let the drivers jump back into their practice modes. It's such a difficult circuit, you kind of want to get straight back into the rhythm. Let's talk about the circuit just a touch, because I love commentating on this track. I absolutely adore it. I think it's such a fantastic and fun circuit. As a driver, I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. Especially the faster you go, the harder it is. So the British F4 Esports Championship here, I'm a touring car driver. I wouldn't even know where to begin with these rounds here. I would genuinely be, if I put in all the practice, I'd genuinely be second and a half off round here. And I'm ridiculously slow.
Yeah, the thing is, if you saw it in qualifying, they were so committed, and therefore, if you, for instance, like the chicane, they seem like they're basically flat out through that point. Imagine if you actually broke. Think about how much time you'd lose from that when someone's flat out and you're braking. It's absolutely insane. You're sort of dancing the car through. It's a big. If you ever played, I knew you did back in the day, Trackmania, when you're trying to squeeze it through those ones, and you have to get there's those corners that's completely blind, but you just know the exact amount that you have to turn from muscle memory. That's this type of circuit. It's like a roller coaster. It's not big and open where you have choice of lines. It's one line, and you have to find that by muscle memory, and then you just flick it in, for instance, like to the chicane, completely blind, but you just know where the track ends up.
God, you should see, if you want to talk about blind and all this, that, and the other, you should see what's currently happening on Trackmania. My goodness. It's currently Khaki.
Decades since I've been on that.
Yeah, no, it's a tournament. It's a festival called Khaki. It's tough, man. It's brutal. That's why I don't do it. I'll jump on the odd cup of the day. Have you seen they've got some Formula E tracks on there? They're good fun. They got some good builds.
Are they accurate?
Do you know what? Actually, I'd like you to have a little look at some of them. They're actually hilarious. They're cartoony versions of it, which of course, when it comes to cartoony versions of circuits, great segue. Of course, you've got iRacing Arcade. Have you given that a go yet?
I've not personally.
Oh, mate, it's mega! I love it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. That is definitely on the list for the weekend.
Oh no, I've given it a go. So there's a demo out there on Steam. I've given it a good go. It's only got Scuba and some Porsches. Honestly, it's hilarious fun. I absolutely door bang the AI out of the way. It's great. I don't feel bad about it.
Were you not penalised? No penalties yet on the game?
I don't know what a penalty is.
Some of these drivers don't either, to be honest. How they were driving in the first one, even though it's such a high-level championship. I mean, they were just going. They were going proper crazy. Hopefully it's not a bit of iRacing Arcade. Well, I haven't said that actually. Oh, we've got more drivers off there. McIntyre's.
Yeah, it's practice.
Just a little side segue as we've got a couple of minutes. Are you slightly disappointed with the season that he's going, or is this what you were expecting?
No, I think he would sit there to see how quickly. I was like, yeah. I think the first round was what I was expecting. Top 10s, good results, good speed. After that, from that point on, hasn't got a single top 10. Yep. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting top 10 in every single race, but I am saying this knowing Shoma will feel exactly the same way, right? Shoma Shintani will not be particularly pleased with how the season has unfolded, and that is whether it is through bad luck, through his own mistakes, through his learning this car. Shoma Shintani is a very highly, I think he's potentially the highest I-rated driver on this field, is he not? He's certainly up there. and finished second in the Formula Fords last season, put on some great results in doing so. And yes, this is an extremely competitive field, but I would have expected relatively consistent back end of the top 10s, you know, at least one around.
Exactly, and I'm just looking.
Is that too harsh?
Oh no, I totally agree. Because also I'm just looking. I mean, he's doing such a good job, you know, like in the other F4 championships that we got going on at the moment, like the global championship. I mean, he's doing well there. So it's not like he isn't fast in this car. You know, he knows the car. Okay, different types of track and whatnot, but he knows the car. It's just, I think it's just such a tough championship, and it's so tight on the margins. If you're slightly off it, you know, you can't really compete. But then what we are seeing is, even though it's small, we're always seeing Gilbert, Moore, Caruana, once again, always up towards the front. So even though the gaps are small, the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, in championships like this, yes, the margins are very, very fine. But if you look back over the history of the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, and if you go and even compare it to the F4 Esports Global Championship, you know, championships like this where things are separated by thousandths of a second. You know, even in that, like, you know, Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercar, imagine how close that championship is. Always mega close. And yet, you know, the drivers that are winning it, whether it is your Jordan Caruso's, your Cooper Webster's, your you know, your Sebastian Jobs and you know, Josh Rogers and stuff, when they're winning those championships, it is brutally close. Whoa! Whoopsie! Molat straight off. Yeah, it's fine, calm down. But yeah, those drivers are still always qualifying top 5. And when they're not, it's a bad day.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, the gaps are smaller, but it's harder to get that gap, if that makes sense.
Right.
So if I guess when we go to like a longer track like Silverstone last time, you may have seen gaps of, you know, half a second regularly, but now it's 1/10 of a second because we're in Knockhill. But that 1/10 of a second is as difficult as the half a second at Silverstone. Yeah. It's so difficult to be, when you're going so fast and you're flat out through half these corners, where are you going to gain the 1/10? Everyone's doing it. So that's why you have to be so perfect and on the money. And that's why Henry Moore, it looked like he did, you know, he felt like he did the worst lap of his life, and he was 17 thousandths off pole.
He looked devastated. You know, he looked as devastated as I did the last time I drove to Mackey's and realised it's not 24 hours anymore. You know, it's that kind of level of devastation. Yeah, it's not 24 hours.
That is bad.
Believe it.
You're driving to Mackey's.
3 o'clock in the morning. No, I was
going to say, you're at that point when you're driving to Mackey's at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's other reasons to be disappointed how your life got to that point. And then for it to not be open.
Yeah, I know. The quadruple whammy. Not even the drive-through. Just terrible. Either way, we've got 4 seconds left to go before we'll jump in to the second race. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that does mean the podcast part of this broadcast will be over and you are all safe. We have some racing coming up for you in just a moment's time. And of course, it is almost time for me to take that deep breath and get through 32 cars, hopefully in the blink of an eye. And then I can ask Cam who he thinks is going to win this race. I'm going to let him think about that whilst we go through this grid, because I don't think it's an easy answer for this 20-minute race. Again, 12 cars, technically a reverse. The number was 13, but one less, courtesy of Charles Genet being dropped to the rear of the field. And here is your grid order. It is McAuliffe, it's Harding, then Heron, Jupp, Asbalderson, and Gergo Bowdy, the top 6 drivers. Those other drivers that were reversed, Torlashi Moreno for TC Esports, Brown and Caruana, and Moore and Gilbert, who round out a 1-2 finish in the first race of the evening. Ollie Stone in 13th position with Colin Muir, Herman, Chadwick, Shintani, and Izzy Matthews in 18th position. Then it's Nathan Tague and Corey Elaine for Mensa, driven by us, Rope Kirkapau, Mia Rose, Hans Mollat, and of course, Will Murdoch for BS Competition. The final rows, Hayward, Espes, and the likes behind. It's Jasir Riley, Perez, Smith, Strabel, and Janae. Cam Roger, very quickly, who is it?
Harding.
Well, he's had a terrible start, so good call. He's dropped right the way down the order. He's had a poor start from second position on the grid as he's been overtaken by his teammate. I think he's got a wheel problem, maybe even no force feedback, and immediately the commentator's curse, which doesn't exist, has taken full effect on the form of Kieran Harding, who's already out of the race.
Oh, that is such a shame. I really was hoping for him and the Driveland squad to have a good result here, but let's see how the rest of the drivers are going to go, because he's basically going to be out of the field, even if he gets that back going with how little time you have around this circuit. So McAuliffe leads from Heron from jump. Osbaldiston is going to be in 4th position, but in the background, we're 3 wide actually, because Bowdy's going to dive it down the inside. That's can't. Surely they're not going to get through there. They somehow, oh no, they don't. Alpine is off into the grass, as you're going to see jump work his way down.
Saw one of the Rox Red Bull drivers that had been spun round. You got one of the altitude cars, got an Alpine there at the back of the field, which will be Rope Kirkapau, who has no rear wing, I believe. The up and under coming in here from Henry Moore on Connor Jupp. They battle over 9th position. A look to the inside from Henry Moore. Dust and gravel being kicked up as they work their way through off the road. There goes one of the Mentor driven by us cars, and flicking their way through comes the Williams there of Shoma Shintani. It was Ollie Stone, the box man, off the road. He's dropped down now into 16th position.
Oh my God. These guys have a little 10-minute break, but they get back to it, don't they? Down in towards the hairpin we go, side by side. This is now Courier Lane. He's trying to defend. He's got Izzy Matthews on the outside. We're side by side a little bit further up as well down this front stretch. This is Herman getting up the inside of Chadwick down in towards the first corner. Chadwick had a crash here just about 15 minutes ago. He's going to try and do another one. He is. Oh, but he saves it this time. Huge save there from the 88. Contact on the inside with Herman. He's somehow going on in a straight line, and we've got Connor Muir now trying to get around the outside of Herman up in towards the chicane. He's going to keep his nose in there, but someone's going to have to back out, and in the end it's Connor.
I just get the feeling that Chadders might have turned in there as if there wasn't a car there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Danny Moreno here trying to find a way through. Same with Augustin Torlash, who's up in 5th position. Matt Caruana having a little bit of a defensive line because it was Leo Brown going on the attack. The up and under trying to come in from Danny Moreno. Henry Moore also in keeping with this. Remy Gilbert directly behind, just trying to keep out of trouble. The 2 Team Bennett drivers, 9th and 10th position at the moment. The Championship League would once again switch over into the hands of Henry Moore. Not that matters one piece 2.5 minutes into this second race of the evening.
I mean, you never know how this is going to work. Oh, what is going on here? There's a Smith. We got the... Oh, what? Well, Jonathan Rice just absolutely smashed someone out of the way. That's Janae, who is seen coming from the back of the grid. These guys just never... Oh, there's a crash there through the chicane as well. And Janae's trying to do one in sympathy. It was Izzy Matthews who went off at the chicane. There's just no calming down at this point in the race here at Knockhill. They just keep on making these small mistakes, and it bites hard around this track.
So crazy in the opening stages. The top 3 though are checking away. Ryan McAuliffe, Archie Heron, Noah Osbaldiston, all running away with things at the front of this field. Let's see what happened then with Kieran Harding. So we obviously had the issue on the initial race start. He's up to 2nd gear, unable to get going. Now gets going. And I think by this point, has he got a problem with... No, he can't have a problem with his shifts because he's shifting gears. Instantly pulls over. I wonder if, like I said, there was definitely something there, whether it was with the pedals maybe being loose, whether it was... I would say it could be that sometimes you can realise the force feedback isn't working, but you tend to just try and get through the race anyway.
It almost looked like a screen turned off or something. There's contact in the background. One of the Red Bull cars in the 75, that is Kirkapau. And then we had Mia Rose being collected. I think Tage got, there's a car spinning around in the background as well. So there's 4 cars already in pit lane at the end of the first corner. This is going to be Herman. Oh, getting a big bump there. So many drivers going past. And just the tiniest contact, but it's a big consequence in these open wheel cars.
So chaotic. Danny Moreno, Henry Moore directly ahead of him. It is, but there was someone straight off in the background, which must have been Connor Jupp. Here comes a look to the inside from Augustin Torlashi on Remy Gilbert, who holds firm around the outside. It's Bennick from TC, from TC, all in the fight over 7th position. Do remember that TC Esports are trying to battle with the likes of Will Chadwick and Matt Caruana here, who drive for the Hymo driven by Hymo. That's well, I'm getting my team names mixed up. Hymo setups by EMM. I was getting that mixed up with Mentor driven by us, because Matt Caruana was driving with last year. Wow, that's quite a merger, isn't it?
I mean, they both have the word "bye" in their name, but let's see if they are able to get those championship points. Because for TC Esports, for coming into this championship, first season that they've done this series, that would be a great run to get up into second place. Benick are gone, to be honest, but second place would be a great job. Caruana currently in 5th place. He's got the fastest lap as well, extra point there. Chadwick is down in 11th. They are the high-most setups team that we are seeing. There's a big send in the background as well. That was Caruana on Baldi trying to get through. I think he's made it stick up into 4th place at the final corner.
I think he has. Like you say, there is a bit of movement coming in from Caruana, who'll be looming large. He said he was confident of the chances of going for victory here in this race, and he's only a couple of seconds behind this, and I think he's got the pace to close his way up to it. He'll drag Baldi with him, maybe even Leo Brown, who's definitely got the speed. Of course, Ryan McAuliffe, our race leader at the moment, again, in the time that he's been in this championship, he's been in this championship on and off. He's done 35 races in totality across his career here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. And again, it's the one that always baffles me. How many race victories has he got? It is a goose egg. It's a solid 0. He hasn't got a single victory yet, as Noah Balderson works his way up into 2nd position. I find that very surprising, knowing Ryan McAuliffe's speed. He had that first podium of his career earlier on in the season at Thruxton, which again is astounding to me.
I guess that just shows you how competitive this series is, and to win a race is so difficult. He's looking good though, isn't he? That's 71 leading. He's over a second. He's lost the slipstream, and this could be something today. But he's got over half the race to go, so let's not get too up in the air right now. But talking about up in the air, chunking that chicane there from these two drivers of Balderson and Heron. They need to be keeping it calm though, because they got some fast drivers. The next 4 drivers, 5, 6, 7 drivers even behind them, are all race winning potential. Oh, there's Espez, 2 races in a row. He's having a crash.
Yeah, not great for Pablo Espez. Fastest lap of the race, you can see there on the left-hand side of your screen, highlighted in blue. Remy Gilbert is the one with it for Team Benick at the moment, scoring the bonus point for doing so. 9th position, though. Not good enough for him to hang on to the title lead. This is what happened to Pablo Espez. He made contact as well. Would that have been with Herman, maybe? Or would it have been Murdoch? It was one of the BS competition drivers, that's all I know.
Herman, no.
Oh, McAuliffe!
Oh, we were just saying good things about him as well, but the 71, that must have been on his own. Coming through McIntyre's, he's gone off and he's down. Oh, he's down to 10th place as well. This championship is just absolutely crazy today with the savagery of the mistakes that you make. And from the lead of the race, he's now given that to Os Balderston.
Indeed, let's see then on board with Ryan McAuliffe. Imagine what the heart rate would be on him. Clobbers the curb on the inside of McIntyre's, and it spins the car around as Balderson comes through, Heron comes through, Caruana comes through, Baldi, Brown, Moore, Moreno, Gilbert and Torlashi all through. And it becomes as Balderson trying to hold on to the race lead. And unfortunately for them, 7-time British Formula 4 Esports race winner Matt Caruana is knocking at the door, searching for an 8th, searching to go joint first on the all-time winners list.
I'm so sad that Caruana is going to miss the final round of the championship, because this is amazing. But, 1 versus 2, him versus Team Benick for the Drivers' Championship, and he's currently gaining on Moore and Gilbert. Down the inside, this will be another place on Archie Heron. That's going to be 2nd position. You know what? He can still win this race. We've got Gravel in the foreground. We've also got Baldy coming through in the background as well. And also Leo Brown is trying to get through, so Heron could be losing 3 places here in one corner, down in towards Duffer's Dip. And I think it might be, unless he wants to be brave around the outside. No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. He's thinking about it. Backs out of it in the end. And that's 3 places lost. And now he's got Henry Moore coming up behind, which is important for his championship because he's ahead of Gilbert.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, the championship is going to remain nice and tight as Heron out wide, and that will cost him an extra position. There goes Henry Moore flying his way through, just slowly picking his way past, as does Danny Moreno. And now knocking to try and come through is also Remy Gilbert. Will Moreno complete the move? Will Gilbert come through as well? Archie Heron dropping back down the field as well. We'll move out of the way to allow Remy Gilbert to work his way through. Leo Brown's also had a bit of a moment, and Gergo Baldi is trying to find his way through. Brown with a slow exit will also allow Henry Moore past, who's in 4th position.
This is going so well for the 77 so far. And I mean, he's got an opportunity to get a podium here from 11th place in the end on the grid that it was. It took him a while to get going, but now we're just about to enter the second half of this race, and he's got 10 minutes to work out how he's going to get to the front of this pack, because to be honest, Osbaldeston, not as fast as these drivers behind. I'm sure that gap is going to close up, and he's going to be under big pressure. Firstly from Caruana, who's going to think about it very soon, if not this lap, on the next.
Well, it's this lap. It's immediately. There comes a look to the inside. Matt Caruana fires his way through. Still 10 minutes left to go this race, and where we've had that issue for Ryan McAuliffe, if he's able to get his way through this opening sector on Noah Osbaldeston, you get the feeling that it might be deal done for the race. Osbaldeston sits right under the rear wing of Matt Caruana, who finds his way through the opening corner at Duffer's Dip, down the hill into the right-hander at McIntyre's. Is this going to open up? How committed is he going to be through the chicane? Here comes Caruana through, leading the race once again, as Osbaldeston had a great drive through there as well, and he continues to sit on the rear wing.
Oh man, I love this track. What a race we're getting. Fourth one of the day, and the drivers are still not done. They are still pushing forward, still going for every last bit that they can. And here is Gergo Boldi on the inside. He's got Henry Moore. He's actually defending here because it's Moore is the one trying to come through. Leo Brown is sitting on his backside as well as they put pressure on the Ferrari Sports driver. He's having a little bit of a wiggle there. Is that to say, I'm not going to overtake you, let's catch up, which might be a smart play for the 77 to not lose ground to the top two.
Yeah, exactly. God, you can see as we ride on board with Henry Moore against Gergo Boldi, someone who, of course, he was fighting, not necessarily for the title. It was Gergo Baldi's teammate that he was fighting for the title in last season's campaign. Of course, Graham Carroll, who we've seen out in action once this season at Alton Park. And we'll see. I'd like to see Graham. I'm disappointed that we don't have Graham Carroll out there on circuit around this track. I mean, how fitting would that be? Come on.
Yeah, I thought he would do a couple more races, but not this time. As Leo Brown, oh no! His sister teammate, he makes contact with Henry Moore. He's got to be careful because I know he's, racing for himself in this championship, but they are very close friends and definitely working together. So they need to be careful not to take him out. I mean, fair enough, go past him, get your points, but do not take him out.
Close friends, maybe less close after that. That was a little bit brutal there. Leo Brown back through on Henry Moore. Of course, the two of them, again, it is not necessarily sister teams. They're definitely affiliated teams in Drive Lounge Racing and Team Benek. Of course, last season it was Henry Moore who was in Guild Academy as the promoted driver from the 2023 UK Formula Ford 1600. There comes a look to the inside from Remy Gilbert, the championship leader presently, trying to get his move done on Danny Moreno, trying to set his sights on Henry Moore, who, despite battling for the title, gives his teammate the slipstream. I respect that.
This is so good. What a race we're having today. I thought Gilbert was going to get that for a minute, but not this time around. Daniel Moreno holding firm for TC, who once again have two drivers inside the top 8. This is looking good for them. They got, where's Chadwick? He's down in 10th place now with Caruana leading, so they're getting some solid points there. So what a championship, constructed championship battle we're going to get between those two teams in the final two races. Of course, we've got Zandvoort next week, Brands the week after that. Is all going to come quickly to the end of this season, and these points will be crucial. And also for the Drivers' Championship, we've got 2 positions on the track separating Gilbert and Moore. This is certainly the best that we've seen the British F4 Esports Championship being, to be honest.
Yeah, it is incredibly tight. You say it was the closest this championship's ever been?
No,
you do know
this.
Okay, because do remember that in the history of this championship, we have had a title race in the 3 seasons we've completed before, separated by 0 points. There are some close runs to the title in this campaign.
The maths on that race was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I remember that one, fastest lap. What a season that was of Gordy Much trying to do his best in that final race. But let's see what Gilbert can do. Slides it down the inside. He was a much further alongside than what we saw a couple of laps ago, and he gets that one done. Although actually he's had a little bit of a bad exit. Moreno is trying to think about it as come up the back straight. Henry Moore giving that slipstream to his teammate to try and help Gilbert hold on, and that should be enough. Yeah, 54 gets passed up in towards 6th position as Moreno, he looks very concentrated at this moment in time, but unfortunately he's just going backwards, losing a couple of places here and there over the last 5-10 laps.
So easy to do around here though, isn't it? Losing those couple of spots. And once you start dropping, it can be very easy to drop a whole host, especially when the field remains incredibly tight. And it's one of those ones where, as much as we see all this big pack racing across the season, this one, they kind of remain close, but it's not really a pack, if you know what I mean. Like, you've got the top three, half a second, a couple of tenths, and then so back. Here comes Remy Gilbert down the inside on Henry Moore as the cloud coverage starts to take control here at Knockhill, as does Remy Gilbert, extending the championship lead with a big and audacious move down the inside on his teammate and championship rival.
I tell you what, a couple of laps to go, in my head I was like, okay, Moore's, retaking the lead, that's it, race done. But Gilbert, 2 laps in a row, 2 positions, and Moore's looking slightly frustrated there, actually, with a little bit of raise of a hand. So I just wonder how we're going to see this huge send over the curbs as well. He is still taking risks, but Gilbert's looking good. He's got fastest lap point as well. I tell you what, Gilbert might be putting Moore in a very tricky situation. He started to look very stressed, is he, in that 77 car?
Look, I mean, wouldn't you be? This is the circuit where things started to fall apart a little bit last season. I definitely wouldn't say they're falling apart quite as much this season at all. This championship fight is 100% on, as we have 5 races left to go, including this one. Henry Moore has a look down the inside of his teammate Remy Gilbert. He'll back out of it. A little bit too much of a risky move into Duffer's dip, as the 2 of them remain running in 5th and 6th position. Boy, is this going to be an exciting run between those 2 in this championship fight. And it is exciting. It's so close between them. And yes, they're teammates. But the fact the team's championship is basically done, they can leave it all out on the line.
I love this part of a season when it gets tense and the drivers are fighting so hard. Just one single position like this can make a huge difference. Because when you get to Brands Hatch, if you make this position now in this race and you don't have to get those points at Brands Hatch, that makes such a big difference to maybe you could just take it a bit more calm on the final lap. Brands Hatch, it's going to be a tough one, a big stressful situation for these drivers, but Gilbert is coming strong. I didn't think he was going to be so strong in the championship after just the races that we've seen so far, as Archie Heron's dropping down after being up into 2nd place at one point in this race, but unfortunately is going to the back of the pack. Oh no, it's not back. Oh, it's just a timing error.
Just a timing error. It's fine. Calm down. We're all good. It's been a dramatic season, a dramatic night. It is what it is. But at the moment, I get the feeling we're not done with drama yet. And I wasn't talking about this for Shoma Shintani. I still think there's something to come from that top group, Cameron.
Definitely. The top few drivers in the championship are all here inside the top 10, and they are, just going for every single position. There hasn't been a single open door that someone hasn't sent it down the inside. And as we stand, basically everyone in the top 6 in the championship is up there in the top 10 on the road. There's the big names up towards the front and a couple of sprinkling of other drivers in there trying to sneak some top points and top positions away from them. As we have just over 2 minutes to go, big defense up ahead. Cecil Balderson trying to hold on to his podium place, but he's slowing himself down. Leo Brown's going to get the run to the inside, so we work our way out towards the hairpin. I'll tell you what, there's a podium up for grabs here for Gilbert as well.
There definitely is. Gilbert can do it, and if he does, he'll be extending that points lead handsomely. But if there's an opportunity for Gilbert, there's an opportunity for Moore as well. Side by side between Brown and Osbaldeston. They remain side by side in the start-finish straight, and I get the feeling that Leo Brown's going to have to drop back into line here. A little bit of a lift coming in from Remy Gilbert to allow the partnered team to maybe have that lift and get back into line. There comes a look, though, down the inside from Leo Brown. Clobbers the curb on the inside as they work their way through McIntyre's. 3 wide. A big drama for the championship. A big slide from Remy Gilbert. Where's Henry Moore in all of this? They come through in 4th position. What chaos and drama. Big front wing damage on the front end of Henry Moore. And somehow the top 2 in the title race remain on the circuit. I'm sure heart rate's risen. 3 wide at that point of the circuit. Are you insane?
In another world, that's all 3 DNFs. I don't know how they're still going. We're still battling, though. So this is the top 2 have got away. Leo Brown is trying to hold on to 3rd place. But we're 2 by 2 as we come down the straight. 1 minute to go. A couple of laps remaining in this race. We go 3 wide. The championship leader's on the outside, but Moreno backs out of that one. That is a good choice as Leo Brown slides his way through Duffer's dip. On the rejoin, is he going to be making contact? No, the Bennett cars go through. And now it's going to be Gilbert in 3rd place and Moore into 4th.
Gilbert back in podium position. Penultimate lap we're currently on. Big slide in the background, and that's big drama for the fight for second in the championship. There was a big slide coming in from Augustin Torlashi, and he has dropped right the way down the field courtesy of it. Huge drama for TC Esports. They're going to lose a whole handful of points.
And Osbaldiston, who was looking for a podium a couple of laps ago, is now going to be well out of it. Here's a replay as he work our way up. Torlashi's going to spin in front of him, but just nowhere to go. He tried his best. Final lap, white flag comes out. Contact with 2 or 3 other cars as they work their way through. There was Heron and possibly even Chadwick on the outside, working his way through the gravel.
Osbaldiston did a great job to help Augustin Torlashi back around. Unfortunately, I think Torlashi, well, he's dropped down to 10th position, so 10th and 5th for TC Esports. But again, it's that first running. There's also a car off the road there as this battle pack works their way through. We'll keep our eyes focused on this. Henry Moore trying to keep Danny Moreno at bay. Remy Gilbert extending the championship lead at present. Here comes a look one way and then back the other for the TC Esports driver of Danny Moreno. Whilst all this is happening, comfortably clear of all of this, it's been a brilliant drive from Matt Caruana as the big drama happens in the fight for 4th. Caruana across the line, a winner for the 8th time in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, meaning 4 drivers top the all-time winners list on 8. That is Moore, McEwen, Berryman, and now Caruana. Behind that is Bowdy, and then it is Remy Gilbert, your championship leader, extending against all odds against Henry Moore. Early stage of the race, I thought that was never going to happen.
What a show up here by Gilbert. I mean, the challenge was put to him, but he got pole position, he won the first race, and he managed to do some amazing overtakes in the final 5 minutes here to basically hold on to his championship lead that he got in that first race. This is game on. I'll tell you what, Henry Moore, he might have been a slightly better driver over the course of the season, but now it's crunch time. Let's see how this one happened. Oh, this was the first one. This was Osbaldiston getting the send by Leo Brown. This opened up the opportunity. How are we going to go 3 wide over the curb as well? I mean, Osbaldiston almost came back and collected all 3 of them.
Do you know what? Unbelievably fortunate that Leo Brown had this lag. Watching me disappears. Whoop, off he goes. I think that is very lucky for the whole team, because had he not, I think that crash was going on a little bit longer. I get it, making it 3 wide there, and I'm sure we'll catch up with Remy Gilbert in a moment. I don't know about you, Cam. I would not have made it 3 wide there. Not a chance.
No, definitely not. The championship on the line, and also for Henry Moore. Moore was so close to being hit on his rear left as well by Osbaldiston. That was insane, absolutely insane with these drivers. And this was a little bit later on. So this is Brown leading Gilbert, Moore, Moreno, as we're going to go 2 by 2 a little bit later, down in towards the final corner. Everything is on the line, and somehow they all remained on the track after such a tough battle. A little bit of block there, not intentionally, but obviously Henry Moore just getting stuck there. What a finish, though.
Well, we can have a deep breath and we can end an exciting evening of racing here at Knockhill with these provisional results. Caruana on top, Baldy, then Gilbert, then of course Henry Moore, Moreno, Brown, Chadwick, McAuliffe, Jupp, and then Archie Heron, the top 10. Bonus point for fastest lap going the way of Remy Gilbert as well. Beckham Jasir in 11th position. Iggy Smith up from the rear end of the field. Great drive to 12th, by the way. Charles Genet up from the rear again, up to 13th position. Then it's Augustin Torlashi, Connor Muir, Seamus Shintani, Ollie Stone, of course, Strabel, Perez, and Riley, the top 20. Still some finishes left to go with Elaine Osbaldiston disappointing to finish down in 22nd after was a good drive as well for the Scorpio Esports driver. Then Molat, a lap down is Hayward and Matthews, and retirement to the race it's Mia Rose, Lucas Herman, Will Murdoch, Pablo Espes, Nathan Tague as well. A retirement list with Rope Kirkapau and with Kieran Harding. I've mentioned it before. Now joint top on the all-time winners list, Matt Caruana. Let's drag him in and let's have a chat. Of course, our race winner for the 8th time in your career. 2nd time we've had this combo. But still, we'll keep our eyes first, hoping that that's going to hold. You said you were able to take that victory. You delivered. Great drive up to the victory.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm really happy with that. It's not, I don't know what to say, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't expect that, but some decent moves. I don't know what to say, to be honest, but yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
Look, honestly, it's an impressive drive in what was a chaotic race. What's it like working your way through in a field list? Is it it seemed like you made a lot of progress early. Is that sometimes luck? Is it judgment? Is it sometimes just that little bit of both in those opening stages? Have you built up that experience over your years racing in this championship as well to piece your way through?
Yeah, the experience definitely helps because you sort of, especially in this car, if you don't die, then you're guaranteed to get a decent result. So I got past Leo Brown at the start, which I think if I didn't do that, then I probably would have had a much harder time winning. But it's definitely experience in this car, and if you know to not get into some massive fight and end up dying, then you're guaranteed to do better.
One more round for you this season, of course. Still 2 more rounds left to go in the championship. But again, as we've gone through a few times, you missed from that final one. You're doing some great stuff for the team, scoring some very, very solid points. What are you expecting from Zandvoort? Of course, it is a tricky circuit, but it is one that you took victory in last season in the third race of the championship.
Yeah, I think, the Global Series went there earlier this season, so there's going to be a few drivers that have some really good pace there already, so going to maybe have to do a bit more prep. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I like the track, got the win there last year, so we'll turn up and see if we can get similar results to today.
By my moderately untrustworthy points, the Highway Sales by EMM team have taken over second in the championship by 4 points. So best of luck in a week's time when we go to the Netherlands.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
There we go. Matt Caruana, again, another victor in this championship. Now, here's something that I didn't know. I've checked the points, and I've checked the stats, and I've checked that we've never spoken to Gergo about it. You've not had a podium in this championship, Gergo. This is the first one, which is mental. Obviously, you're such a talented driver all the way over esports, and I know this has been a difficult learning experience for you here in the British F4 Esports Championship, but a great podium. And what have you made of that? I mean, it was a brilliant drive too as well. Certainly wasn't gifted to you by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a while now. It was tough race and tough times because I made some silly mistakes as well. Sometimes but the race day preparation itself was a little bit off for me as well. So yeah, it was a little bit off, but yeah, finally a podium. There were 1 or 2 sketchy moments. So yeah, sorry for Connor. I think it was 3 wide, but I went as close to the inside line as possible. Just it was really narrow, so I couldn't really do anything there. But yeah, there was some 1 or 2 sketchy moments, but luckily I'm back to the podium, and I just hope that it will be like the ketchup, that you open and then it starts coming.
Exactly.
I hope the podiums will be the same.
Well, I mean, you've got more experience in sim racing than quite a lot of the drivers on this grid. Obviously, I've been racing around you probably for, it feels like almost 10 years now. I've seen like Jack Heath and stuff in the chat, all of the drivers back from the old days of sim racing. It's been a lot of time in sim racing. So you kind of know more than others what that podium can change for you. Like you say, it can open the floodgates. You can get those more podiums. Have you been learning more this season than some of the seasons previous? Because of course, last season Graham Carroll was the lead driver. You were helping him with the championship. Now you're the team lead to Jonathan. Is that an easier position for you, a better position for you?
It's different. I'm not gonna say it's easier or more difficult. It's just a different case when I have more experience. I was lucky last season that I could learn from the champion Graham Carroll in my first British F4 season, which he helped me a lot. Still helps me a lot, and he gave me so much. Helped me a lot to get back to the rhythm. So yeah, it helped there a lot, and now I try to apply the methods he did to the methods that I've done in the past. Because as you said, I don't know, I've been racing since 2008. I just checked. I watched the calendar there, but 2008, mate. That's quite a long time now. So I've seen this and that, but you always need to change. You always need to adapt. By age, you can feel that that some skills might go away, but some skills come to that as well. So you just need to combine these things, and let's hope this just put me on the right foot for the remaining part of the season.
Gogo, it's great chatting to you. Great to see you here on the podium. Best of luck for the final couple of rounds. And yeah, again, hats off. Great podium.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Gogo Baldi, of course, someone who's won a whole host of championships, including, I think it was a couple of WTCR Esports Championships. Speaking of championships and championship leaders, it is, of course, Remy Gilbert back into the comedy booth. The 9th time this season you've stood on the podium. Of course, you've had back-to-back victories. It's 4 consecutive podiums. The second time you've done that this season. You've got some crazy accolades, and you are the championship leader by 6 points. How does that feel with just 4 races left to go? It's getting tangible there.
Yeah, really good. I don't know how I managed to work my way through in that race, especially with that 3 wide moment. But yeah, P1, P3, can't really say could have done much better, to be honest. So yeah.
You mentioned it. Let's talk about it. That 3 wide moment. Obviously, Leo having the big send on Noah, and you kind of trying to pick up the pieces on the exit of McIntyre, and it nearly went all very, very wrong. What was the heart and the mind saying as the car was pushed sideways onto the grass, onto a massive curb, and somehow you were able to get back pointing forward and were able to keep going?
Well, I thought it was over. I really did. And then Leo's car disappeared for a split second and then came back on. And yeah, I was like, I didn't even react, but it was crazy, really. But yeah, I just about managed to get my way through to save the car and yeah, then get back in front of Leo for P3.
Honestly, some epic drives tonight. A double podium for you once again. You're looking stronger and stronger. Some great moves as well, even on your championship rival Henry, showing that again. You've clearly got the call from Seb that this is open for the championship.
Yeah, I think as we move into like the later part of the season, I think it's a bit more open to battling and fighting between us, which I think is good. You know, we saw it in race 1 with Henry when me and Henry defended, and then again in the second race. So you know, as long as it's all fair, then yeah, let's go.
4 races left to go. Best of luck in them, and I get the feeling with the amount of podiums you've had, we'll be chatting to you a fair amount more.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening.
Good evening to you as well. Remy Gilbert there onto the podium. 75% of podiums this season, Cam. Absolutely wild. Next up, we're racing at Zandvoort. Thoughts on that very quickly before we wrap up?
I want to see Henry Moore come out and dominate, to be honest, because I think Gilbert, he's got the upper hand at the moment. Henry Moore needs to turn it up next time.
Certainly so. Remy Gilbert leads the championship by 6 points. When we went racing in the Formula 4 Esports Global Championship around Zandvoort, it was Henry Moore who put on a fantastic display to win. He'll need to do that next week if he's able to challenge once again for the champion here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. The penultimate round of the season comes up next week. Until then, though, from myself, Lewis McGlade, from Cameron Roger, and of course from Hugo Luis, bringing you all the broadcast here on RaceSpotTV, we'll give you a very warm goodbye.